So everyone is done till the extraction part and the transformation that we had done yesterday. Saranya, did you complete that?
Yes.
Ram,
Still.
Saranya,
Yeah,
Mike,
it's complete.
sorry?
I'm here. I just completed the transformation part. It's fine.
How about Ram and Saranya?
Till whatever we did yesterday, I've completed it, Brad.
Ram, how about you?
Yeah, same from my side, Brad. Like I have completed whatever we have completed till yesterday.
Okay. How about Michael? Michael, did you get a chance to look at the video and then do it?
Yeah, I was able to look at the first two videos you did, and so far so good. I was able to do the flat file that we did yesterday. For every other thing, I'm just waiting for the video, which I'll work on this night and possibly tomorrow.
Yeah, but it will be uploaded by tomorrow. And please go through these videos because now it's going to fire up, you know. As
Yeah.
of now, we have been doing like extracting from the source, extracting from the flat file, then from the Excel file. But going forward, we will jump into validations, then load part enrichments. If you don't go through these videos, it might become a bit difficult for you. So please go through the videos. We have a full week, just maybe 6 videos till now. So please go through them. Make sense?
Of course, it does make sense. I would go through the video. I believe by next week, weekend, I'll be fully on track.
Great. If you need any help, let us know.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Brad, just one thing. Can we just discuss on the substring? Actually, I just wanted to check. Like I tried from my side.
Give me a second, buddy. Give me a second. I just want to note something down, like what we will be going through today, and then we will take it off from there. Just give me a second.
Yes, sir.
So who has the issue for substring? I guess Ram, right? So Ram, you have an issue with the substring, right? Please unmute yourself. Am I audible?
Yeah, with substring.
Yeah, please share your screen and show me what's the issue.
Currently, I am not connected, Brad. Like I have to connect. Like I tried with the same scenario, like Word ext. It identifies the position, right? Like if a particular string, it identifies the position. So I tried from my side, but the results are not as expected. So that's the reason.
Meanwhile, you can just connect to your systems, and then I will have a look at it. Please connect to your system. Ram, you're connecting to the system, buddy? Or you want me to share the screen and then take it forward from there? What do you want? Ram, am I audible? Buddy, you have to unmute yourself. I don't know what you're trying to do. Michael, am I audible?
Yeah, of course, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, perfect. Then let me share my screen. Then we will take it up from there. So let me just try to help Ram, and then we will go from there maybe. So what's the issue? Hello? Ram, you have to unmute yourself, buddy. I didn't understand like what you were trying to say. Okay, then let's move ahead. So what I want to cover today is the validations. So we have seen yesterday like how we can manipulate data, how we can use certain functions to transform our data, how we can use the cross references to manipulate data. Now, what I want to focus on today is the validations that are available in data services and how we can use those validations and what are the different types of validations we'll be using in data migration. So what we discussed so far is whenever I'm extracting my data, I will then transform it. Now, after transforming, I have to validate my data so that my data becomes load ready. I need to be sure if all the configurations have been done, if all the xrefs that have been shared with me, if they are working fine, and if all the transformations that have been shared with us, if they are working fine. The most important one is the mandatory validations and the check table validations, or we call it as lookup validations. Because if you do not take care of these two fields, then you will not be able to load data into S4. Second thing is, we discussed, if I have 100 records and I fail them in the preload validation, 99 I am failing. But the one which is going to the preload success, we should be able to load it. So if I do not validate my data correctly, there is a chance I might tell my business or data owners, hey, you have 60 records, so 60% of the data is load ready. But then it might not load there, right? So that will be a roadblock for them. If I fail all my data, even 90% of my data in the preload validation, they still have the time to make the configurations, to give us the xrefs, to change the logics. Anything can happen, right? But at the very last moment, if I tell them, no, now the data is not loading because of this configuration, then it's not good. So in order to make my data load ready or SAP ready, I will be validating my data. How do I do that? Let me show you. So okay, so this is the template we will follow. We will always have a transform workflow. We will always have a validate workflow. There will be a script inside this. How do we write the script? I will show you later. Then there will be a workflow which will create my preload files. That is a success file or load ready file. And this will create my preload error file. Let me recap what we did yesterday. So what we did yesterday is, like, we manipulated the data for this maintenance status, and then we also manipulated this data for material group, right? Material group. Now, what I will do after the transformations, I will validate this data. So let me do a right click on this, show in local object library. For MAKT, usually we don't have any transformations because it's mostly like the descriptions will be moving. So nothing major happens over there. Now inside my validate, I will again have two data flows, right? Because I want to validate my Mara and I want to validate my MAKT. So let me do something like this. Validate. This is Mara. And since the validation is independent of one another, I will keep them in parallel. I want to validate this and this simultaneously because there is no dependency. What I will do here is, I will just get this here. I will get a query transform. Let me name this as query genrow. Why I name this as query genrow? Because I want to introduce a column which I call as row underscore num. The reason I will tell later, but let's see, like, as of now, I'm just taking all the fields, but I will not be loading all these fields. We can selectively load maybe some fields that are necessary to load a material. Let me take it here. Then at the end, I will simply do a right click, new output column, insert below. I will name this as row underscore num, and this will be integer. Now I need some data for this. I will use a function genRowNum. You will always do this whenever you validate your data. In the first query, you will always create a column and you will name it as RowNum, and then we will use a function generate RowNum. So what this generate row number does, it will assign a number to each record, starting from 1 to the last. Okay? Each record I want to have a unique value. I call that as row num, because row num will always be unique. For each record, there will be a row num. It will be uniquely defined. Why do I do that? That's a separate thing. I will discuss that. But as of now, we have to remember we will always do this. Now after this, I want to take use of these transforms now. The first one is I will use a validation transform.
Brad, one
As
second,
the
like how,
names,
Brad, sorry to interrupt. Like, how did you add the row num? Like, what it, right click on it, is it?
right click at the end, just right click. And for example, here I
New,
will right click, new column,
okay,
insert below. I will just name it. I will select it as the data type. As of now, I want the data type to be integer.
integer.
So I will just OK. The moment I do OK, then I
Okay.
will get a row here, row num, right?
Okay.
Then
Okay.
inside that row num, I will always use the function gen row num. Make sense now?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Brad.
Okay. No issues. Now I will take the use of this important validation. You will, in your 100% of the projects, you will use this transform. That is the validation transform. Now we discussed, we will have usually 3 types of validations, but I will create 4 over here, so that if at any point of time you encounter a scenario where you need to check these validations, you can do it. One is validation underscore mandatory. This I will use to check my mandatory columns. You can do all the validations in a single validation transform, but we don't do that. Why? Because it becomes very difficult to manage code. We will keep a different validation transform for different checks. This is my validation transform for the mandatory checks. I will again drag this here. I name this as validation lookup. So all the fields that I want to load, right? If they have a check table configuration check, I will check that here. Okay. I will again drag this here. I will name it as validation xref. See, even inside validation mandatory, I can check the validation xref. But I told you, it's very difficult to manage code. So I will always keep these things separate. Now the fourth may or may not be usable. But sometimes if you want to use, you can, like validation underscore format. Sometimes there may be a scenario like, hey, please check the number of characters in telephone. If it's more than 10 or less than 10, you fail it. For such cases, you will use this validation format. Now I will connect this here. I will connect this to lookup. I will connect this here. I will connect this to here. Till here, is everyone clear? Any questions till now?
Only one question, Brad.
Please go ahead.
You're already taking the source as the staging table, am I right? From the HANA table, HANA database.
Yes, please
Okay.
understand the flow. I have already extracted the data here. Then in the next step, I have done some transformations. I will not take my LND SAP table, ECC table again. No, we have to go with the flow. I will, the first step, please remember these steps. First, I extracted some data over here. This is my ECC system. I dump this data to this table, LND Mara ext00. Now my extraction is done, right? Now after this step, I will not use Mara now. I will use this LND Mara. Whatever filters I have, I will keep that here itself. You see?
Yeah,
I
the
want
landing
to.
table you're talking. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is my landing table. Then inside my transformation, if you check for Mara, I'm not using ECC again. I will now use LND Mara ext because whatever conditions, filters I have to use, I have already done that. Now I want to transform this data, this set of data. I don't want to use ECC again. These are the this is the flow, how it's going to be. Now you will use this table and you will transform it. Now this is my transform table. I should literally name it as stage Mara trans underscore 00. But I'm sorry, I named it as ext. This should
But
be stage
initially, your
Mara.
initial thing is landing. Am I right? So when you
Exactly.
extract the data, it has to be landing.
True. First step is
From
landing the data.
landing to staging.
Yes, from landing to staging, but I should have named this as stg Mara trans underscore 00.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
That's okay.
Now this
Brad,
is my
can we rename it? Like
No, you cannot rename the tables. No,
okay.
don't do that, sir.
Because we
It's okay.
declared that as a table. That's the reason why you cannot rename.
No, it's already
Okay.
created. In BODS, you cannot recreate anything. You have to delete it and recreate. You cannot rename.
Okay.
It's okay. Now the transformation part is done. In the second step, I will validate this data now. This is what I'm trying to achieve here. This is the flow. You will land the data. Then on top of your landed data, you will do some transformations. Once the transformations are done, you will validate that transform data and create a valid and invalid table. Then you will dump that valid data into your enriched data table, and your invalid table will go to the preload error file. This is the flow. Any questions till now?
It's good. Thank you.
Anyone has any questions? So this is my transform table now. Now I don't want to take everything. I just want to take only the field that I want to load. Let me check my earlier job, what is necessary to load data. So I want to focus only on those things. Okay, so what is necessary? Oh, not this. So what is the basic thing to load material? One is Matner, then is pstat. Let me only get those things. Matner. I want to focus on the load now. Pstat. Album I don't need because we have already taken materials marked for deletion out of the scope. I think MTAT should be important. MTAT, MBRSH, MATCL, MTAT. MBRSH. Let me delete these. Then I will get MBRSH, MATCL, tells. MATCL is there. Then unit of measure, BRGWNetQ. I'm only trying to load the fields that are necessary for a material at the basic level. So I don't want to take all these fields because I want to focus on the validation of these fields only.
Brad, quick question. If I remember correctly, I remember you had like pushed everything into query gen row, right? Like we had selected everything and then we created a new row,
I
right?
deleted all those fields now because
Okay, except for the row num. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to focus on all the fields. I want to go through the validations, everything for only the fields that are necessary for the material creation at the basic level. So these are the fields that I need. If I don't pass
Okay.
these fields, then my material is not going to load. So I want to focus here only on
Okay.
these fields now. You have some basic requirements to create a material, right? You need to pass the unit of measure, you need to pass the material group. So I only want to get those fields. I don't want this enam, date. These are not necessary to create a material at the basic level, so that I can focus on these validations. Now, let me do one thing. Now I am going to focus on these fields. So these are the fields. Now the first step. So how do I know which of these fields have a mandatory check? It's simple. I go to my SAP. I click like /n SE11. Remember this T code SE11. This will give you the structure. Inside SE11, I punch in MARA. That is my Mara table. I do like this. As of now, only Matner is having a key column check, right? So whichsoever field has a key column check, we will apply the mandatory validation on that. Please remember this. Whichsoever column has a key tick marked over here in the key segment. This is a key field. Forget mandatory. Since material is a primary column or a key column for Mara, so I will always make sure this material is not null. If you try to pass material as null, we cannot load this data. So I will go, as of now, we are loading material, so only Matner is having a tick. If you try to load like plant data, Marcy, then material will be having a tick mark over there and plant will be having a tick mark. So it's always recommended go to SE11 and check which fields have a tick mark. Simple. I will push this validation.
If you have a more than one tick mark, like MATNR and MANDT.
Then see, for example, if I go to, let me check how many ticks are there for Marcy. Sorry, /n SE11
MATNR.
MAKT.
You have another section open.
MAKT. So MAKT has Matner and Spras, right? So when I go inside validation of MAKT, then we will have the mandatory validation for these two fields now. My material should not be blank and my language should not be blank. I will show you this in, how do we do this in MAKT validation. As of now, I want to focus on Mara.
For MANDT, we can hard code it. The client
No, mandatory is not required. We don't even carry this field even from the landing environment. We don't even get this field.
Okay.
Just give me a second. So now for my Mara, since Matner has a validation, it has a mandatory validation. How do I apply the validations? I double click on the transform. This is my validation transform. I will double click on this. I will add a validation rule. Now, just to make things so that you remember these things, I will name this as Matner. Just for my sake, if I want to remember like for on which column this has a validation. Okay, so it has a validation on Matner. So I will just write it something. Material is mandatory. It means this is a it depends on you how you want to write it. But usually what I do is like, if there is a mandatory validation, I will write material is mandatory. Ignore if null. No, I cannot do that, because if I ignore this field, then even the nulls can pass through. Then there is no point of doing this validation. If, for example, there are certain configurations that allow even the blank value, for such cases we will check mark this. But for mandatory validations, you cannot check mark this. So we have to leave this empty, this field. Now I will do a column validation. I will select my column over here, Matner. And the condition is not null. So I'm trying to tell my system if this has a name. This has nothing to do with the validation. I'm just giving these names so that I remember what I'm trying to do. Here I'm doing a column validation. Hey, my Matner is going to come and it should not be null. If it's a null, then send it to the fail. If it's not null, then it will go to pass table. So I click on OK. So this is my mandatory validation has been created. Okay. Since Mara has only one key field, I will only have one mandatory validation over here. Next is the configuration check. How do I know which fields have a configuration check?
1 second, Brad. Let's say in the same MA, the same validation which we did. Let's say if I have more than one validation, let's say if I'm getting the junk values, if I am getting the not proper digits, maybe some special characters or something like that.
That is in the format, right? That's the reason we are segregating this data, to keep it clear, to keep it like separation of code we do here. I will not write all my validations over here. I will write some validations over here, some over here, some over here, and some over here. I cannot write, I will not do that. No, we will go one by one. We will not rush.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. So as of now, we are done with the mandatory validations. So what if I have two mandatory validations? Let me take you to MAKT now. Let me get this MAKT. This is the transformed table. This is my transform data for MAKT. Now I want to have a validation on MAKT. So I will go to MAKT. I will drag and drop this MAKT here. The same structure. I will again create query underscore gen underscore row. I will just get everything over here. At the end, I can do something like new output column, insert below, row underscore num. Then
just
inside.
is there any reason why we are having row underscore num? We can directly map it to validation transform, right?
Is it like why you are creating row num?
Yeah.
No, sir, I will always do that. I will tell you the reason. You have to be patient.
Okay.
Gen row num. Now again, each and every row will have a specific row number. If you do 200 data migration projects in your life, the structure will always be the same as we are doing it here. So this is not like maybe we are doing some trainings. This is, you can say, 90% close to the actual data migration what we do in the real-time projects. You will always have these 4 jobs. You will always have this transform setup like this. You will always do the validations like I'm showing right now. So please keep your ears open.
Brad, can you since you're in this page, can you show that what's the query we wrote for MAKT? Like what transformation did we do for MAKT?
We did nothing. We just simply dragged and dropped it. Nothing done.
Oh, okay. I thought we had some query.
Now, if there is no transformation needed, you will not do it. It's not necessary like all the tables will have a transformation. There can be, there cannot be. They might tell you, hey, change the MAKT X to upper cases. Then you can do it. As of now, I don't need anything. So I will just bring it to the targets. As of now, you can see like this is in the lower cases, right? Camel case.
Yeah.
Like pump precision 104. So if somebody ask you, hey, I want only like set FM should be in upper cases or lower cases, then you can do some transformation. As of now, I don't need any transformation. So then I'm just bringing whatever is there in the source table. Just drag and drop.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Now I want to go to MEKT. Again, Genro. Again, I will get this validation underscore mandatory. Validation underscore lookup. This is the reason data migration is easy. Why? Because this is a repetitive work. You will always do it. Convert me. This is the structure. You do it for one object, then it doesn't matter. If you have maybe customer, you have vendor, you have material, you have bombs, pricing, sales contracts, open AP, open air, it doesn't matter then. If you are able to load one object, you can load n number of objects. Because the structure is same, the process is same. Okay, again I created this. Now I will connect this. The reason I'm doing two tables simultaneously is because I want to show you like if there are two validations for mandatory. Otherwise, I will finish one, then I will come to MEKT. Now here, what I will do, the first step, go to SE11. This is my SE11. Punch in MEKT now, because we are doing a validation on MEKT. Display, how many primary keys are there? One is Matner, one is Spras. Matner, material number, Spras is language. Since SAP is a German product, so these are German, this is in German language. Spras in German means language. So I go here, I will add my validation. First is Matner. I will write material is mandatory. Okay. I cannot ignore if null. No, I cannot do that. Now, Matner, here I will write is not null. I'm done. I will add one more validation. Here I can write Spras. I can write, let it be. Spras is mandatory. I will again do this. Click on this. Spras is not null. Okay. Now I have both my mandatory validations even here. Are we clear till now? Is mandatory validation clear to all? Okay. Now the important step. How do I now check which fields have a check table lookup or lookup check? So you need to analyze all the fields that you are going to load. That's the reason I deleted all the fields. I want to focus on these fields. Now, if you have an old field and a new field, your lookups, your mandatory validations, every time it should be on the new field. And whenever you are using xrefs lookups, then there should always be xref check as well. Now I know I have my field as pstat, right? Maintenance status. I will go to SE11. This is my SE11. This is my Mara. I go inside. Then I will go. Please remember this. Everybody remember this, because most of the times what happens is like when we go through the DDD, sometimes the functional owners or the data owner, they mess up. They miss to give us the check table reference. So it's always better you check these things yourself. They sometimes give it, they sometimes don't give it. So we should be able to know how we do it, from where we can get this information. So what we do is like we go to SE11, we punch in the table, and then for mandatory validations we are done till here, right? We will check whichever field has a tick mark over here in the key column or key field, then we will put a mandatory validation for that. Now what about the lookup check? Lookup check we have discussed. What is a lookup check? If any configurable field is, we are going to pass some value to the configurable field, that configurable field has to be configured somewhere. If I'm trying to pass plant 100, this 100 has to be configured in some T table. Which T table? That information I will get from here. Input help check. I want to focus on pstat as of now. Is there pstat? So this is pstat. You do not see anything on the pstat. So whatever data is inside pstat, you can load it. There is no configuration check. There is no mandatory check. So whatever data is coming, it's null, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't care. You can load it. So I don't need to worry about pstat now. Then the second thing is material type. You have to do this for each and every field. That's the reason validations are important. Most of the time you will, in case of whenever you are developing code for your object, your 40% of your time will get consumed here doing the validations, because these are important and you have to check one by one. If there are 60 fields, you have to go to SAP and check one by one. Okay, this field has a lookup check, this field has a mandatory check. So this is how it is. We cannot help it. So I will go to here, I will control F, I will write mtart. That is mtart. Mtart is material type. Okay, mtart has a check on T134, right? Now this T134 I need to extract. I will, because you cannot directly have a lookup check on the S4 table. This mtart has to be configured in S4 now. We are validating our data against S4. ECC is gone now. We extracted data from ECC, we transform that data. From validation, we will validate our data against S4. Forget ECC now.
But Brad, this T table should be loaded in S4 before we validate.
This T table will be configured by the functional owner, data owners, whosoever it is. Configurations are already done, but when you try to load material, when you try to load a material type FERT, this FERT should be present in T134. If you load FERT1, FERT1 is not configured in T134. It will throw you an error on load. Like this FERT1 is not configured. So you cannot load the data. We have to be crystal
for
sure.
the T tables we cannot load. Okay.
No, we don't load it. These are the configurations. We don't load these T tables. Configurations is being done by SD consultants. We don't do this. Our main work is to check our data against these configurations. If the data is failing these validations, we will tell them, hey, this configuration is missing. Please configure the system. It's not our work. Our work is to just check here. Now I know T134 from S4 HANA system. I need this in my HANA DB. Why? Because I have to validate my data against this. Now what I do, as we again I discussed this yesterday, we will always have a different project, okay, where we will do the check table extractions. Yesterday we did something like WF xref here, and we are always hitting this Excel file and dumping the data into this table, but this is not recommended. We will have a separate job for xref, and this will be done once, maybe like whenever we start mock load 1, we will extract this table. We start mock 2, then we extract this table. We do not do this every time we run the data, this job. Why? Because this is inefficient. We are just wasting our time. The data is not going to change. If there is any time a data change of data for xref, they plan to include one more xref over here, then you can run your xref job. But it's not recommended to keep it here. We are keeping it here just for the case of simplicity. We don't want to create one more job. Otherwise, you have to create a job. Now let me do the same thing. I will again create one more WF workflow. I will name it as underscore WF underscore extract underscore lookup. Something like this. You can name it accordingly. It depends on project to project, how they want the nomenclature to be. Now, what is the first table I have to extract here? As per my data, I have to extract T134. T134. I go here. I go to the data stores. I go to my S4 now. Forget ECC. ECC is done and dusted. I don't care about ECC anymore because I have to validate my data against S4. So I will go to tables, right click, import by name, T134. Hit enter. My T134 is here. I will get, okay, I need to get a table over here. I can say like df underscore lookup underscore T134. I go inside. Simple. Whatever we have been doing so far, we need table to be extracted. So we have been doing this since 6 days now, 6 sessions now. So simply just dump this data here. Actually, I just need mtat, but it's okay. Even if you get all the details, I don't care. Because ultimately, I will be having a lookup on mtat. If you want to extract everything, it's okay. If you want to just extract this field only, that's also okay. But sometimes what happens is like there might be one object downstream object which might be dependent on mtat and maybe this field. So what we do to avoid such circumstances is we always extract everything. So this is it. Then I will always name these tables as either lookup underscore T134 or straightaway T134. Why? Because all my staging tables will be like stg underscore something. But in order to recognize this table, if in a project some 10 resources are working, they will not extract this T134. Everybody will not do it. Just to make it clear for everyone that T134 exists, we will have some nomenclature for this. Hey, if LKP underscore T134 is a table in HANA DB, it means this is a lookup table from S4. We have already extracted this. So it's not like somebody will create LKP underscore T134, somebody will create T134, somebody will create T134 underscore stage. No, you have to follow a single naming convention. If you are using T134 like this, then everybody will be extracting T134, then BUT000, then maybe T135136. But if you are using lookup underscore T134, then for all the lookup tables, you will use lookup underscore that table name. Just to keep things easy. I will extract this, dump this here. Then I will go to options just to avoid the errors, runtime errors. I will do this thing. Okay, I am done for T134. Okay, now what else am I loading? I'm loading okay, mtat is done. Then I'm loading mbrsh. I will again go to S4. This extraction of T134, T137, this is one-time activity. And all the projects have a common job for this. They will allocate a person to extract this configuration tables. It's not like every time you create a table, for example, you are loading materials, you need to recreate these tables, do this task again and again. No. If we have already extracted T134 and if sometime bomb person is handling bomb object or some other object, then he can reuse it. So it's a one-time activity extracting these tables. Now what is mbrsh? Mbrsh, I need T137. I will go back. One more df underscore lookup underscore T137. Why am I even extracting these tables? Because you cannot directly hit this table. PODS does not allow you. It's not enabled in data services. Like I can check my configuration directly in this table. So this is just, maybe you can call it as a limitation. I have to extract this data first to some table, HANA DB table. Then only you can use this table to validate your data. Now what I have to use?
So we are extracting the T134 from S4 to HANA DB.
Exactly, because we are validating against S4 now. ECC, I don't want to even look at ECC right now when it comes to validation. I already have my data in transform table. Now I want to validate against my S4. So that's the reason I'm extracting this data from S4.
S4 to HANA DB.
HANA DB. Again, I have to do something like right click on the table, import by name T137. Done. I want to extract this data. I will bring it here. I will do something like this. Then mandatory, I don't need. Even if you bring in my mandatory, it's okay. But usually I don't need it. This will be lookup underscore T137. Okay, my MBRSH is sorted. What next?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
See, we have a S4 system, let's say. Okay. Whenever we say S4 system, that is running on HANA database.
HANA database is a database. S4 HANA system is an ERP.
It's ERP, but it is running on HANA too, right?
No, HANA. It's not running on HANA. These are two separate things. I can even use SQL as my middleware. I want some intermediate database where I can manipulate my data. We are not lifting and shifting from ECC to S4.
I got that, but what I'm asking is, let's say, okay, S4 is an application, it is running on some database. If the client doesn't have a budget, this and that, if the client says that, okay, use the same S4 database,
how can I use
database
S4? No. Wait. How? If my client tells me I don't have a budget, I cannot have this HANA DB, right? Then where will I manipulate my data? In this you cannot create a template table. You cannot create a permanent table. Only HANA DB or something you have to use. SQL Anywhere, SQL, HANA DB. You need a something intermediate database. So this is ultimately this is just my connection to my S4 HANA system. This is my connection to my ECC legacy system. In the middle, I need something where I will dump my data, where I will process my data, where I will validate my data. If he is not having budget, then I think he should just continue using Excel.
Okay.
Because we need something. I told you, BODS is not having anything of its own. BODS needs something where it can dump data, right? As of now, we are using HANA DB. HANA DB is a database. S4 is an ERP system. This is just a connection. Don't get confused. I'm not having anything doing in S4. I'm just extracting data from S4, bringing it to HANA DB.
So that's right. But what I'm asking, Brad, even S4 system needs some kind of database, isn't it? S4 cannot really run without database, isn't it? Like it has a tables, it has a member.
See. Why would ERP system need a database? ERP system is ERP system. It is storing data in its own forms. It is a database. I agree with you. At the end of day, it's again a database because it has tables, it has views, it has data. But
yeah,
true. But
yeah, that's why I'm coming. It has the data, it has the tables. Let's say if I can create some tables there in the back end of the back end. I'm not talking about the forend of the S4. I'm talking about the back end of the S4 system.
No, I'm not sure about the back end of S4 system. That's the reason I don't want to throw an arrow in the air,
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Yeah.
From the data migration point of view, this is a connection to legacy, this is a connection to S4, and this is my intermediate database, HANA DB.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, let's now move to material group. Now I want to check if material group has any validations. So what is material? Yes, it has a validation on T023. As of now, I'm not even checking on which field we have a validation. As of now, I'm just trying to extract all the relevant tables. I will now extract T023 from my S4. That's the reason this takes up most of the times, validations. And this is important. Otherwise, you cannot load data. Again, I will have df underscore lkp underscore T023. And then inside this, I will right click, import by name T023. Now I have my T023 over here. Drag it, do this. Join. You want you want mandatory, bring it. You don't want, leave it. It's up to you. I reverse the primary key. Get a template. This is just the same thing I'm doing again and again. Just the extraction. Earlier, I was doing the extraction from ECC system. Right now, I'm doing the extraction from S4 HANA system because ultimately I have my intermediate system as HANA DB. Everything should be in HANA DB so that I can validate my data or I can manipulate my data. So from the process point of view, for a consultant, we don't care. Just the system is changing, but the process is same. So this is the repetitive task. That's the reason learning any tool is easy. I have been doing the same thing, same extraction. So nothing to worry about. Now T023 is also done, which is the next field we are going to migrate. Unit of measure. Let me see if unit of measure has any check table. Control F MEINS means that is unit of measure. Yes, it has a validation on T006. Now again, I will go back here. I will extract T006. Same story. Go here, right click, import by name T006, hit enter. df underscore lkp underscore T006. T006. Select the first two, reverse the primary key and dump it. LKP underscore T006. I hit enter. You remember when we were doing a cross-reference yesterday? Then we extracted the data into that table and xref table, and then we imported that, right? Because I told you it's easy to find those tables inside those functions, right? We are going to do the same thing. We will run these tables first so that we have the structure ready in HANA DB. We have the data inside them, and then we will import all these tables to make them permanent. So never do something like you create a table and turn it into and import it. No, you should not do that. You have to run it once so that the moment you do create a template table in BODS, you are just creating a template. You are not creating the actual table in HANA DB. So you should first run this once and then import it. If you do the other way around, like create, then do the import table, make it a permanent table, your BODS will tell you, hey, I don't find this table in HANA DB because you did not even run it. You are just creating a structure, or you are just telling from the BODS, like, hey, I will create a structure or table like this, but you have not done that. So please run your job first and then import your tables. Otherwise, you will have errors in your code. Your code will not run. As of now, you can see these as like this is a template table. How do you recognize if this is a template table or a permanent table? Template tables do not have these dark lines. It's just, you see the difference? This is a permanent table, a blue colored over here. This is something like light blue over here. This means this is a template table or a temporary table. Now which table I'm again? Let me go here. I'm done with this. Then I want to check BRGEW, NTGEW. Control F, BRGEW. Okay, BRGEW is not having any check. NTW no check, so it's okay. I can push whatever data I want. Then KZFKG. Let me copy this. Let me go here. Control F, Control V. KZF no check table, so I can move whatever I want. What else I have? VPSTA. Again, go to SAP VPSTA. So again, I don't have a check table. So I am done with the check tables. So whatever check tables I needed, I already extracted them, right? So we have the code ready. Since I cannot run this job as of now because I will have some issues with the validate. My validation is not complete as of now. So what I will do, I will create a temporary work job over here, and I just want to run this workflow. Extract lookup. Right click, show in local, go to this job and run it. Because I cannot run my transform job as of now. It's incomplete. Now all the tables have been loaded. The moment all your tables have been loaded, I will just make them as permanent tables. Here I have the data. How do I make a temporary table as a permanent table? I right click on the table and I import table. So this turns into a permanent table now. The moment I turn this as a permanent table, please do not forget to double click on the table, go to bulk loader option and change this append to truncate. Why do we do it? I will tell you later, but this should be done always for the lookup tables. I go inside T137, same story. Right click, import, go inside T137, bulk loader, change the append to truncate. Append means to add. Truncate means whenever you are running this data flow next time, delete whatever data is there. Truncate this table. Truncate means delete everything, then reload this table, right? I do not want to append these tables. Why? Because if you append the table, suppose the configurations earlier were like A and B were configured. Now in the first run, your lookup T137 will be having A and B. If you keep it as append, if you keep this in append mode, if you run it twice, second time again A and B will get added. So I will have A B A B. Third time A B A B A B. Okay, so you are duplicating your data. Now the second scenario can be, now the function owners, what they did, they thought like, hey, we don't need AB, we need AC. What if they delete B there in the SAP S/4HANA system? When you run it again, it will have AB, 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 and AC now. And when you check your data against this table, if any of your legacy data has B, it will still give you a wrong figure. Hey, B is already there, your data will pass. But when you go to S/4HANA system, B is not there. Data will fail. So that's the reason you always truncate. I want to show this in Excel. Okay, let me show you this in Excel. Please understand this. Why am I keeping my code in truncate mode? Why not append mode? Append mode is something like when you want to keep the history. Suppose this is my run one. Okay, in my run one, there were two fields. One is A, second is B. This is my S4 HANA system and this is my HANA DB. Okay, now what you did is you extracted A and B from S4 to HANA DB. Now in your run 2, when you are executing your jobs again, so this is an append mode. I'm trying to explain append mode. Again, when you extract the data, your S4 is already having A and B, right? Your S4 is having A and B. Inside your HANA DB, there is A and B already present. But when you run it, it will reload A and B now. Why? Because you are keeping it in append mode. Append means whatever is in the table, keep it there and reload the table with the new data. You are just adding the data. Now for your third run, it might happen. Let me go to the third run and then I will show you the issue. What can happen? Suppose again in your third run, the system S4 HANA system is having values A and B. So the system, what will be in HANA DB? AB is already there. Now you will add one more AB. Now suppose we have fourth run now. They deleted the configuration for B. Okay. They thought, no, we don't need A. and B. We just need A. But when you run it for the 4th time, what will happen? This will get A into here, right? Now B will not come, but B is already there because this is in the append mode. The reason I am extracting this data from S4 is I want to validate my data against this data. My legacy data will be validated against this data. If my legacy value is coming as B, I will check if B is there. As of now, it will tell me yes, B is there. But in the real time case, this B has now been deleted, right? B is not there anymore in S4 HANA system. The functional owner deleted the B configuration. But in my HANA DB, if I keep it in append mode, I will now still have B over here because this is a historical data. So in order to avoid this situation, what I do, I will always keep my lookup tables in truncate mode. What will truncate do? Every time you run it, it will delete everything in the table. So now it will not be, sorry, it will not be like, just a moment. It will not be AB. So whatever is coming from S4, it will be loaded here because it's deleting the earlier data. It is truncating the table. Now it will not be AB. It will be only AB. And here it will not be AB. It will be only A because you are keeping in truncate mode. Data services deleting the whole set of data available over there and then reloading it. It's a permanent table, I agree, but it's running it in what happens inside the temporary table? Inside the temporary table, the table itself is dropped. It's in drop and recreate mode. What is drop? Drop means completely delete the table, whole table, structure, everything delete it, then recreate it. That's the reason if you're changing the schema, if you're adding a field, removing a field, it will still work. Why? Because the table is getting dropped. The table itself is getting deleted. But whenever you are creating a permanent table, then the schema is not getting deleted or the table is not getting dropped. Then you have the option. You can run your code in truncate mode or append mode. In append mode, the data will always get added up. But in truncate mode, it will just delete the content of the table. It will not drop the table now. It will just delete the content and then reload it. That's the reason we will never keep our lookup tables in append mode. Sometimes what we do, we are creating them in haste and we forget to do this. And trust me, it's going to create a big impact. So never do this. Whenever you are changing your temporary table to permanent table, always
because the
go ahead.
on temporary table, we cannot do the lookups.
You can do the lookup, sir, but you have, see, for on temporary tables, you can still do the lookup. But the issue is you have to write the code manually. Here the system will do it for you for permanent tables. You can do it. Some projects, they do not allow you to create a permanent table because you need to then write these scripts in the next environments. Like in staging, you need staging K1 or staging 1, staging 2. You already created the permanent table in staging 1. For staging 2, they need to then create these tables in K2, K3, K4, K5. They want to avoid it. So most of the projects, they will not let you create these permanent tables. So there is a workaround to do that. I will show you how to do that, but I don't want to burden you as of now. I want to keep it simple. You will turn your temporary tables to permanent tables.
Just one query, Brad. Like while creating the temporary table, we are not using the bulk loader options. We are disabling it and we are directly proceeding with the options that we have.
Yeah, bulk
So
load
for
option.
permanent table, should we always use this bulk load?
You don't have this for permanent tables. See, this has been disabled now.
Okay. I mean, if we uncheck that bulk load, it will enable, right?
Okay. But what delete data from before loading? This, doing this, or doing this is one and the same thing. Delete data from table. This is truncate. The more truncate, it's one and the same thing. So it's better we just change it.
Here we don't have issue with nvarchar or.
No, I already changed that to nvarchar because you cannot see that anymore. Would you? I don't think so. That can only be changed for temporary tables. So I always do that first. Then I will change my tables to permanent.
After that, you're importing to permanent. Okay. Yeah.
Now what we already have these tables created. Now let me move back and let me show you how to validate this data now. For lookup validations, I needed these tables from S4 to be extracted in HANA DB. I am already done with that. Now we already have these tables in the HANA DB, right? Now I want to validate my data against these fields. Let me go to Mara. Let me go inside validation lookup. So whatever validations I will be having in for the check tables, I will keep them inside the lookup validation. Okay. Let's see the first one. The first one is, do we have a validation on pstat? Let's see. Control F pstat. No, there is no validation. Then, which is the next field? MTAT, material type. Okay. So what I do, I will double see MTAT has a validation on T134. We already made sure this T134 is there. So what I will do now inside SE11 input help check, I will double click on T134. Forget mandatory. How many ticks can you see over here? How many primary keys are there for table T134? Only one, right? So this is one-to-one relationship. So I will just check if my material type exists in this table or not. Had it been more than one, if there was MTAT was tick marked and then MTREF was tick marked, then we will use a different approach. But as of now, since please forget mandatory, as of now I can see that there is only 1:1 relationship. That is my material Mara MTAT. I have to just check if that exists in T134 MTAT. So what I will do, I will go here. I will do, okay, you might be confused what I am talking about. So let me see for other validations. Give me a second. See, for T134, there is one-to-one. How about T137? T137, only one tick. So this is one-to-one relationship. T023, again, only 1:1 relationship. Now I want to take you to one more table. /OSC11. If I go to ADRC, right? If I check region, where is region? Control FT 005S. Okay. You see, if I want to migrate my data for region field, forget materials as of now. I just want to show you how this is to be done. If I have a validation on T005S, if I double check here, can you see there is 1:2 relationship now? 1:2. That is, now I cannot simply check if my region exists in T054. No, I cannot do that. I have to check region as well and then country as well. I already gave an example. If I need to check my country, country is like one-to-one relationship. I will check if Australia exists in T005. But now if I want to check, say New York, I cannot only check New York. I have to check the combination, whether New York and US exists. I cannot check New York in Australia, right? They have to configure New York in US. Suppose there's a city, say there's a city XYZ and it's in two countries. City XYZ is in India and it's also in China. What if they configure it for India only? They do not configure it for China. So the combination will be country will be India and the city will be China. Sorry, city will be XYZ. But for China, they did not configure it. Now, if from my legacy system, I have to check the validation, I have to do validation, configuration check validation on this city, I cannot alone check XYZ city. Why? Because yes, they have configured it for India, but they did not configure it for China. So I will always check the combination here, whether this particular city exists in this particular country or not. So this is one-to-many relationship. How do we do one-to-many relationship? I will show you. How do we do one-to-one relationship? I will show you. Again, I can go back and I can show you for T005S. If I want to check a country, simple. This is one-to-one relationship. Whenever there is one-to-one relationship, I will simply use a functionality here that is exists. I will show you. For example, my MDAT, material type. If I see my material type, this is really important. So please try to understand whatever I am saying. If I have a MDAT, I will again show you how to do this. I will go to SE11. Then I go to Mara, where I'm seeing my validations. Then I will go to input help check. I will do MDAT. Okay. Now MDAT has a validation, check table validation on T134. I will double click this. Now I found out like, okay, there is only one tick mark over here. That is one primary key here. Then it's a 1:1 relationship. 1:1 check. So I will add a validation here. I will name it as MDAT. Usually I will do something like lookup on T134 so that I remember on which table it has a lookup. Some people don't write it, some people write it. It depends on your taste, like how clean you want to keep your code. Now I know this has a check on T134. Now I will do a column validation. I will do this. I will do exists in table. Simply, whenever there is 1:1 check, you will use this exists in table. Which table? I will select HANA DB. Then T134. What is the field? MDAT. Done. This is done and dusted. Okay. Now I have, you see the tick mark over here. It means this has a validation. If I click on this, then it will highlight this. This is the validation. What is the validation? I'm simply checking this MDAT if this exists in this table T02 T134 MDAT. Since there is 1:1 relationship or check, I can simply use exist in table. T134 is done. I will now check MBRSH. So again, I will double click on T137. Same thing. MBRSH. 1:1 relationship. Okay, I will do one more add validation. MBRSH. Lookup on, what is the table name? Table name is T137. T137. Then I will do this. MBRSH. Existing table. Double click here. T137. MBRSH. Okay. Now the third one is Matcal, right? Matcal has a validation on T023. Now I did some transformations over here, so I will now have the validation on Matcal new. Matcal old corresponds to ECC data. I already made that relevant to S4. Now I will have the validation on Matcal new. So whenever you have old and new fields, we will be having the validation on the new field because this is the field that we are going to load. New, not the old one. Old one we are keeping for the business owners so that they can validate the data. If, for example, they want to change Matcal 00001 to 1, 00001 to XYZ, they can see, okay, this is XYZ, this is the old value, okay, the transformation is looking good. Otherwise, this is of no importance to us. This is just for the sake of data owners so that they can validate their data. But the validation will be here. So I will write Matcal, then lookup on, what is the lookup? T023. I double click on T023. Again, this has 1:1 relationship. So I will simply do something like this. I will select Matcal new. I will do exists in table. I will select the table. Which was a table? I forgot. T023.
T023.
T023. Then Matcal. I'm done. Now I have means. Now let's consider this. See, I know this means has a lookup on T006. But let's for the sake of argument, let's say this had a check on both MSEHI and KZEX3. As of now, I know I have to do exists in table and I have to just select this MSEHI. That's it. But what if there was MSEHI and KZEX3? Then how will I do that validation? Whenever there is more than one relationships, whenever inside the T table there is more than one field on which that is a key field, then how will I do it? Let's do it for T006. Okay, this is means unit of measure, lookup on T006. For the sake of understanding, we now consider like it has a validation on more than one field. So what I will do, I will select this means. Now I will not do exists in table. Exists in table is when there is 1:1 relationship. In such scenarios, when I have to check my column against more than one fields, I will use a custom condition. The moment I go to custom condition, it will give me the access to functions. I will select a function as we have already done it yesterday. I will now check lookup ext. I will do a lookup now because what lookup does is like it can give me the access to check more than one fields. So I will go inside the lookup. I will go inside the lookup ext. Here I will choose the table. What is the table? T006. Now here I will check MSEHI. From here I can get this MSEHI means. Why am I mapping means to MSEHI? Because if you see inside T0, even though here I have means, right? But where do I need to check it inside T006? Sorry, this means. Sorry, this means. For this unit of measure, I know the check table is T006, but on which column I need to check? There is no means. There is MSEHI now. So I have to do the validation on MSEHI. So what I will do, I will map MSEHI to means. What if there was more than one field now? We considered, let's for the sake of argument, we say this was also tick marked. Okay, then it had a validation on MSEHI and KZEX3. So what I will do, so let us say like KZEX2, maybe like medical new. This had a validation like, hey, I want to check. Suppose, let me take an example of the region. Suppose I have to check the region now in T005S. So what I will do, I will map my region to region and the country to my country. Okay. Then from the output, I will take MSEHI. As of now, since I still have only one, what do you call that? 1:1 check. I will delete this. It can still work for 1:1. But if there are more than one, then you can select the fields over here. You can just drag and drop. If you are more than two, then you can keep on adding these. Suppose this is the field, then you will map these fields with this, like pstat you do here. Then you see like there's a dependency on this. Okay, you can keep on adding this. But as of now, since we have 1:1, I can still do this. But existing table is easy. Suppose I am taking MSEHI for means, then I'm getting back MSEHI. I will do finish. But here I have to now write is not null. What does this mean? It means if you want to have a look on the lookup again, then you do something like right click on the ext part or lookup part. Then you do modify function call. Okay, it will give you this screen back. What am I trying to tell the system? I'm telling my system, hey, I have a lookup on means. Whatever unit of measure is coming, I want to have a lookup on T006. I want to check that against MSEHI. And I'm getting back MSEHI. Okay. This part is done. Now, if that value is present over there in T006, it will definitely return me some value. For example, there's a unit of measure ST. I'm trying to check if ST is equal to ST. If ST is present there, then definitely this will have some value. If the ST or TC or KG, it's not configured in T006. If I'm trying to map this to this, so for example, KG is not there. Then this will return as null, right? as we have seen yesterday for the transformations. If any value is not configured, it will not give me any value in return. It will give me a null. That's the reason I'm telling the system, hey, if any value it's returning, if it should not be null. If it's not null, that means my value is already configured there and I'm good to go. If it's returning me null, then it will fail because I'm writing a condition over here. Hey, whatever value this is returning from here, it should not be null. Or you can write, hey, equal to 1. But maybe you want to see like, hey, for example, there is a case scenario. You are doing a configuration check, then the based on that configuration check, output should always be 1. Okay, you can write, hey, if this is 1, then it will pass. Otherwise, it will fail. But as of now, my use case is like I want to check if that particular value has been configured. Then I will write at the end is not null. This condition and this condition is now exactly same. You know why? Because since this is 1:1, 1:1 dependency is there, so I am just writing existing table. You can still, for even for 1:1 dependency, you can do this, but this is like more work for us. That's the reason we simply do like existing table. That's it. We existing table, set the field, set the table, that's it. But whenever we have more than one columns in the T table, then we are forced to go through this route. We have to use the custom condition, then we have to use the function, we have to use the lookup, and then inside the lookup we have to map it as we did yesterday. So you will just get this field MSCHI, you will push in the field for which you are trying to check the configuration, then you will get this field back, and at the end you will write is not null. This is for when we have more than one is to many dependency, 1:2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter now because you can have more than one columns inside that inside the lookup function. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I want to check if there is any more field where I need the validation. KZ of KG. Do I have a validation? No, I don't have. VPSTA. VPSTA. No, I don't have a validation. So I am done and dusted with the lookup validations. Are we clear till now?
Just couple of queries, Brad. Maybe I just wanted to iterate. Like one is so we have discussed about the existing case and also custom condition. So here also, even in custom condition, we are using the permanent table. In case if we want to use a template table, we need to copy the same script and replace the table.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then what you will do, you will keep this in your maybe a notepad file. Then you will just replace this with the actual table, and then you will replace these here. Like for example, as of now, I'm trying to get back MSCHI. You will replace whatever you want to get back from this from that particular table, and you will change the mapping over here. For example, as of now, I have a mapping on MSCHI equal to means. Then you can have ABC here and XYZ here, right?
Okay. Got it.
But I don't want to take you through that route as of now because you are still new to these things. So let's make it as permanent table. Otherwise, you have to code it. It will still work, but I don't want you guys to code as of now. I want you to use the system.
Yeah.
Any
and
questions?
The second one is what is that validation function? Like in the lookup, we have column validation and some other thing like at the top.
I have never use this, I never use this validation function. Maybe, what happens is sometimes you can create a function as well inside data services. Here, you can create a function. You can create custom functions over here. Maybe we can use these custom functions or validation functions inside this validation, but we never use it. You can do that. For example, there might be a scenario like, hey, if you have say 10,000 records, if for example you are creating say bill of materials. Now they give you a header material, they give you the component. For bill of material, header material remains same, but the component changes. If the data is coming from ECC system, then you know like what is the BOM number. But if it's coming from some Excel, you don't know the BOM numbers, right? Then using these, you can use these functions, you can write some code over here, and then you can create a logic that will give you those BOM numbers. That's something like on the complex side. I don't want to take you there.
Okay.
Any questions still exists in table and custom function validation? This is simply same as we did yesterday, but just we added for this. If I had to use a lookup, then I will only use this. But since now I'm using a function to validate data, then I'm using this part. Otherwise, this is the same thing we did yesterday for xref.
But for this, I've done existing table itself. That should be okay, right?
It's okay. But what if you are trying to load ADRC data? Then you have a check on region. Now in region you cannot do existing table. Why? Because I already explained you. You need to check the combination if that particular region exists in that particular country or not. Then you have to use this function. You have to use this. I will copy this. I will paste it over here. Somebody please allow me to share the messages with everyone. Support team, please. Anyone from support team?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, buddy, just enable the message. I want to share this with maybe Saranya. You can have a look into it, and if needed, you can use it.
Okay, sure. No problem. For this one, anyway, I've chosen existing table already. Can we go and change?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay.
I cannot, buddy. No, you are not giving me the access to message to everyone. I can only message you.
Okay, 1 second. I'll change it again.
Still no, I cannot.
Yeah, changed it to everyone.
No, I cannot use it, buddy. You can see my screen.
Okay.
I don't want to hold it over here, buddy. Please give me the access.
Yeah, I've given. Check now.
Okay, perfect. So Saranya, this is the code. Okay, if you at any later point of time want to have a look at it, this is how we do it.
Thanks, Brad.
No problem. Now I am done with the lookup validation. Now the xref validation. So as we already know, we have used the xref for mathematical and we use the xref for pstat. For example, okay, they gave us some xref files and we change this. Then we will use something like, it will be same as is not null, but this is just for the sake of keeping your code clean so that you keep all your xref validations over here. I already told you, if your xrefs, they are giving you xrefs, always have a mandatory validation on the new field so that if they are not giving any value to it, we fail it. They can either tell us, hey, this is out of scope, or they can later tell us, hey, this is the xref for that. Suppose pstat, I will write xref so that I remember these things. I write xref, simply I select pstat new, and I do is not null. So whenever pstat new is not getting any value, it means the xref is missing. Then two cases can arise. One, it's out of scope. Two, they forgot to give us the xref. They can ask us to add xref. We will update our xref sheet, run that xref table again, and run our preload job again. Suppose medical new. So wherever you are using xrefs, please use the mandatory validation for that and use a separate validation transform. I will show you once I run this job. I will show you what is the fun of creating all the validations separately, because your DI error column will be generated. It will tell you, hey, this is the error, here is the error. If you keep everything in a single validation transform, it's very difficult. Okay, since for materials I don't have any format issue. So I will ignore this. Now after this, I will always use a merge. Why? Because let me name it as merge underscore pass. Whatever is passing, it will go to this. I will
What ideally we do it in the format validation. Okay.
I would suggest don't do it. Why? Because when we run this code, it will generate a column which we call as DI error column. That DI error column tells me why is this error. If I am keeping everything in a single validation, I do not come to know whether this is configuration error check, whether this is xref error check, whether this is lookup error check. It becomes easy to resolve the errors later on. I will show you.
Okay.
Now, after this mandatory validations, lookup validation, xref validation, and your format validation, you will always have two merge transforms. What does the merge do? A merge will always have the multiple inputs, one output. Okay, there is an interview question. What is the difference between merge and a case? What case does this? For example, if I try to run get a case over here, I will show you. See, you see one red dot, three green dots.
One too many.
No, it's not one too many. It's like it can have one input, multiple outputs. Merge will always have multiple inputs, one output. So there can be an interview question. What is the difference between a merge and a case transform? The difference is for merge, it can have multiple inputs but one output. However, in case of case transform, it will always have one input and multiple outputs. How do we set it? Let me show you. So this case is simply like when, for example, you want to segregate your data. You are getting a data for all the material types. As of now, I'm only bringing a finished good, but you want to have maybe different transforms for different material types. I will show you. For example, I will create a case over here. Say case FERT. So what I can write inside this FERT, I will write where mtart is equal to FERT. So wherever material type is equal to FERT, it will come out from this case FERT. Okay. I will add one more condition. Case HALB. I will write a scenario where mtart is equal to HALB. Okay, I'm as of now I have two cases. Now you produce default output with label. For example, if material type is not FERT, material type is not equal to HALB, then there will be one default output which will have the rest. But as of now, I will you can enable it or you can just disable it. Okay. There might be a scenario where you are sure, no, I will have only two material types, then you will not select this. But there might be some cases like you are only doing the transformations, some transformations for FERT, some other transformations for HALB, and then for rest of the things you are not doing any transformation. Okay, then I will create two use case scenarios over here. But I know there might be some default as well, some for other material types. Let me keep the default. Now, let me write something like query underscore FERT. I will show you. This we usually use in the transformations. I will delete it later on, but I'm just trying to explain you why we need case. Okay. Query underscore HALB. You see, when I'm trying to just join it with this, it will ask me which case is this. I will write case FERT. When I try to join this with this, which case? HALB. Let me write one more. When I try to join this to this, I can mention default. Suppose they ask me wherever there is a material type FERT. Suppose I'm giving an example. Wherever material type is FERT, always change unit of measure to say PC. They can give me this case, right? So we will always mostly you will use this case transform inside transformation. Okay, now what happened is like I'm changing this to PC, and they can tell me, okay, wherever material type is equal to HALB, change this unit of measure to kg. Let me change this to kg. Okay. For default, leave whatever is there.
But we can also achieve this without case transformations. We can write decode.
Write three different. No. You cannot write decode. Then what you have to do for example, without this, you have to go here. Then here you can write a where clause. Like, hey, where matical is equal to this. Sorry, where mtart is equal to, for example, you have to do then here, where mtart is equal to fert. This will do it. Then you have to design three different queries over here. But it's always better when you have more than one conditions, then you use a case transform, because it's easy to maintain your code later on. What if you want to use one more transformation, or it's easy just for the sake of simplicity. I will not write it here. I will simply write a case. Then I know I'm 100% sure. Okay, for this one only my fert will come. Okay, for this case I don't want to do anything. Whatever data is coming, just load it. So what is happening right now is for fert, my material unit of measure is changing to piece. For HALB, my unit of measure is changing to kg. For others, it's being the same. But then what I will do, I will merge this data back. I will again connect this, and this. And then I can dump this data into a table. So what will happen now? So I'm writing a case over here. Case fert do the, now this is a use case scenario for fert change the unit of measure. There can be some other logics as well. Hey, for fert change the material number from 00 to 1111, something like that. It depends on the use cases. But before joining them to the merge, make sure the schema is same for all these. You cannot have 2 here and then 4 over here, right? Two output fields here and 6 output fields in another. So we will always merge this having the same schema, and then we will dump this to the table. I will create a table over here and I will just push it over here so that my transformations are taken care. This can also be a use case scenario. I wanted to emphasize on what is the difference between case and a merge. Case will have one input, multiple outputs, but your merge will always have multiple inputs and one output. Now, if I connect this to
just one query, Brad, like in case transform, here in this case, you have applied on 3, right? For example, we have 5 values which are there, out of which we need to apply on 3. And for the other 2, should we create one more transform which is for default?
Yeah, you can. See, it depends on the use case. For example, you are 100% sure. I just want for fert and halb. For that case, you will not tick mark that default. You will not get the default out because you are sure shot only 2 material types are coming. But if you have multiple material types and you have some transformations for halb, some for fert, and for rest of the things, whatever is coming from the source, load it. Then in that case, you will have a default.
Okay, so we will have 3 as the output. Okay.
If you are defining 2 cases, if you do not select that default, then you will have 2 outputs. Otherwise, you will have one more, that is default. So whatever is the default.
Okay, good.
Hey Brad, sorry, my internet just went out. I just joined in. I heard you last when you were talking about the interview question.
Madam,
for
now
merge
you have
and
to
case.
go. Yeah. I was saying, if there is what is the difference between a merge and a case? For a merge, there can be you can see like 3 inputs, 1 output. But for a case transform, if you see, there is 1 input, multiple outputs. So the interview question is, what is the difference between a merge and a case? So the answer is, a case will have 1 input and multiple outputs, but the merge has multiple inputs and 1 output.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Now I want to now join this to this, but which will I join? I will join the pass only, because I want to collect all my passing records here. Okay, and I want to send my all failed records to here. Whatever is failing, some validations, some data might fail because of this validation. Some might fail because of this validation. Some might fail because of this validation. Some might fail because of this validation. So if you see, I have two outputs over here, right? One is pass, one is fail. So I will send the pass to pass, pass to merge pass. So basically, I am passing my data through 4 different transformations, right? Then I am recollecting my data back. I want all my data back, but this will only hold the pass and this will only hold the fail. Now you guys ask me a question. Why do I create that row gen? Now understand here. Suppose there is a data which is passing this validation. So it will go to pass. Now the same record, it is failing one of the lookups. Then it will come to my fail over here. See, if anything is passing over here, it will go to pass. If anything is passing over here, it will go to this wala transform, this transform. If anything is passing here, it will go to this transform. But it might happen like this, a record is passing this, but it's failing this. So it will come from here to pass, but from here it will come to fail. Same record, right? Suppose Matner is mandatory. Mandatory material number is there, but material group has not been configured for that record. What will happen? It will flow to both my pass and to my fail. Now, when I see this record, it will be both in my valid and invalid table, right? Because it's passing this validation, but it's failing this validation. Now, I usually do something like query underscore p, just to make sure I get the distinct at the end. Query underscore f. When I join this, please have a look at the schema. So the input schema, this is the input schema, this is the output schema, right? I will just do this thing. Just have a look at the schema and just have a look at this schema. Is it exactly same? All the fields are exactly same, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now have a look at this schema. How many fields have been added to it for the failed records?
3 extra.
Okay, now this is an important interview question. So whenever you apply any validation, what is the difference between the pass data schema and the fail data schema? So you will tell them, when we have a look at the pass data schema, the schema is exactly same as the input. But for schema which is failing the validation, the records that are failing any of the validations, 3 fields get added to the input schema. I don't care about this, but this is important. Why? Error action is whatever you have set up in this transform. See, what is the error action over here? Error action will always be sent to fail, right? So I don't care. Whenever my data is failing, I will always send it to fail. So this is like always will be maybe F. It will always be F. Let me go to the fail part. Now for pass data, my schema will be exactly same as the input schema for the validation transform. But for my failed data, 3 columns are getting added: error action, error column, and row ID. This row ID and error action, I don't care, but this will give me the exact reason why this data is failing. Let me get this here. Let me drop it here. If anyone has any questions, please ask. Now, we already discussed this. Suppose my data is my data, I'm feeding this data to these 4 transforms, right? Validation transform. So my data is going through this and this. Some data might pass here, some might the same records. Suppose there's a row number 1. It's passing this validation, but it's failing this validation. Because of it's passing here, it will come to this. It's failing this validation, it will come to this. It might fail any of these 4 validations. It might pass this, but it is failing on the unit of measure. I don't care, but ultimately this validation, it will come in the fail, right? So it might happen. Some of the records, they're in the pass, they're in the fail. simultaneously, because they are passing this validation, but they are failing this validation. So you can see some records that are present in both valid and invalid. Here comes the use of my row num. I already created a row num. I will show you what I will do now. Mara underscore valid underscore 00. Now this becomes my valid table, and I will just do stg underscore mara underscore invalid underscore 00. I will just dump this data to this. As we already discussed, some of the records, they will be present in both here and here. But if any record is present in invalid, I don't want that record invalid. Why? Because it's failing the validation. If any of these 4 validations are failed by any record, it should be only in invalid. It should not be present in the valid table. Now, I can use only one validation. For that scenario, it might never happen because there is only one validation. It will either pass that validation completely or fail that. I can do that, but I will not do that because it becomes very difficult to manage code if you keep all the validations, mandatory validation, lookup validation, xref validation, format validation, everything in a single validation. It's very difficult to read that code, and it's very difficult to resolve the issues later on. Okay, so when we are using more than one validation, I will take help of this query row num. See, I already told you each row will have a designated row number, and that will always be unique to a record. Right? Now, suppose row number 1. Row number is 1 is passing the validation, so it's coming into this table. But row number 1 is failing my lookup validation for any of the 4 or all the 4 or 2 or 3 lookup validations over here. Right? It's not necessary it should fail all. It can, even if it fails 1, it will not come to my pass. It will go to my fail from here, right? Now, row number 1 is here because it passed this validation, and this validation. The reason I'm stressing on this is because this is important. So if anybody has any questions, please raise the question. I don't want you to get lost over here. Why are we using this row num? What is happening here? Try to understand. Your record is passing this validation, but it can fail this validation. So your record is here and it's also here, because from here it's going to the pass, but from here it's going to the fail. And as we already discussed, if any of your records is in the invalid table, it should not be present in valid table because that's not load ready. It's failing the validations. There we take the use of this row num. So what we will do, we will write a SQL query inside this script delete. Inside the script delete,
we will delete the past records which are having the failure.
Exactly. I will now use, see, even whatever happens, the row num will always be allocated to a record, right? So what I will do, I will delete from valid table wherever the row num is present in invalid table. What it will do now, my valid table will never have a record that's an invalid. My invalid is having records, I will get that resolved by my functional, but my valid table will now never have a record that's failing the validation. This becomes my load ready table now. So what I can do, I need to check. Oh, wait a moment. Now you got, why am I using that row num? Why am I generating a row num?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We are almost there, We have one step before we load. Now we load this data to S4. If you guys are good till now, I'm happy, because this is the only difficult part here. If you are good with this validations, then configuring IDOC or BAPI is just a cakewalk. That's easy. But just try to understand the concept. Now I will go to MAKT. Again, I know for MAKT, I have 2 mandatory validations. That is Matner and Spras. Matner is material number, Spras is language. I will go to SAP. I will go to SE11 again. Here I will now use MAKT. Okay. Now I will check. Okay. Matner and Spras, we have already done the mandatory validations. I will check the configurations. Now I see, Matner has a lookup on Mara, but logically speaking, we are trying to load Mara itself, so we will not use this, right? Because there is no data as of now in Mara, because we are about to load Mara, so we will not use this validation. This doesn't make sense. This is just SAP is trying to tell us, hey, if material has to be in MAKT, it has to be first in Mara. We are anyways going to do that, but we will not use this validation. This is common sense. But Spras, there's a T table. And what is the T table? Okay, this has a lookup on Spras. Again, 1:1 relationship. So what I have to do now, I have to again go back, write my code and extract T002. That's the reason we allocate a separate resource for this, because you will keep on extracting these tables, extract tables. df underscore lookup underscore T002, double click, go to your data store, go to your S4, import by name, T002, just hit T, it will take you to T002, then write something like this, get it here. Even here you can see like only Spras is a primary key, right? There's a key mentioned over here. So it's having a 1:1 relation. Again, I will do something like this, LKP underscore T002, hit enter, drag it to this, go to options, change this to yes, and now I will run this again. I want to add this job over here as of now because I have to run this for T002. Let me run this again. If I'm going fast, just let me know. I will go slow. If this is the correct pace for you guys, then it's okay. What is the issue now? Where? T023. Wait. Now T023 is giving me an error. Why? Maybe I change the schema later on. So I will check in HANA Studio where I messed up. If you see, I'm having an issue with T023. It's not letting me, it's giving me an error. It's telling me something like invalid column name MANDT. What it means is like either I'm not having this MANDT in my target table. But if you see here, T023, it's a permanent table now. If T023 mandatory was not loaded earlier, then I cannot use this, right? Then I have to delete it here. But let me check. Just a moment. Okay. So I go to system. Saranya, you were yesterday struggling to go to SQL. You can either go to this, right click and open SQL console, or you can select this and go to here, open SQL console.
Okay.
Okay. Now I will do select star from LKP underscore T023. Let me check how the data is there. Okay, you see there is no mandatory over here. That's the reason I am unable to, what do you call that? I'm unable to extract that field. So let me delete this MANDT. In the first run, I did not create this MA and DT. Now in the second run, when I'm trying to recreate the data for MA and DT, since MA and DT is not present there, if you see the schema, MA and DT is not there. So the system is trying to tell me, hey, the schema is not matching with the permanent table in S4, so I cannot do it. Let's see. Still I'm getting the error. Okay. Let me refresh. If you sometimes get these types of errors for permanent tables, simply do one thing: just delete it from the object library and then import it back, because this is a permanent table. You will anyways get it back. Okay, if I get the same error again, just a moment. If I get the same, okay, I'm getting the same error, right? It's trying to tell me, hey, mandatory is there, but I already saw in my HANA Studio, there is no mandatory. So what I will do, I will simply right click on this, show in local repo. I will delete this. Let me, or re-import this. Let's re-import this. Yes. If I re-import this, yes, now it's working. What happened now is, it simply, I mean to say, refresh the connection with the HANA Studio, and now I cannot see mandatory over here. So I already removed this mandatory over here, so it should work now. This is the issue with permanent tables. That's the reason most of the projects, they don't allow you to create permanent tables. I'm still getting an error now. For what? I think someone is okay. Okay, you guys are also creating the same table, lookup T023. You guys are not using something like T023_00. Since we all are connected to the same HANA Studio, so if I am doing it, somebody else is doing it and he's having a different schema, I'm getting the issue. That's the reason I have this issue, because you guys are also doing it. Now I don't know which has the issue. Let me run them in series. So please, whenever you are creating your tables, name them according to your repo. Like
yeah, we are adding like underscore TSP.
Yeah, someone has done the same thing as I have done it. So I'm getting an error because the schema is not matching now. Let's see for where I'm getting the issue. I will re-import it. Even T134 has the issue. Wait. I will do this. Now let me do re-import. Yes. mtat. Okay, somebody is doing the same thing. Okay, let me also remove it. If I see an error, no, that's okay. Let me run it again.
Sorry, Brad, it could be me. I was using
It's
the
all right.
same
It's all
naming
right.
convention.
It's all right. No issues. It's really okay. At least you are practicing. It's okay. We can get n number of bugs.
I'll remember to add the repos.
Yeah.
After
Everybody who's using this, yeah. Please add. Now what's the issue? Again, what happened with T006? Invalid column name. No, already you created T006, I think. Import. Yes. Okay, you removed MATK mandatory. In the real-time projects, it's not like everyone will be creating these like lookup tables. only one person will be creating it, and then you will import it into your respective local repos, and then you will use it for your validations. So this case will not arise like, hey, you are creating with mandatory, I'm not creating with mandatory. Only one person will be doing it. Now we are done. So I wanted to do. Let me
this
check.
also I just completed, so probably you might get an error.
No, it's all right. I didn't change it to the permanent table as
Permanent. Okay.
I will do it now. Okay, I will double click here. I will do something truncate. I'm done. Now if you have, okay, now I'm done. Now for my validation of MAKT, I want to use this T002. Where is this? Okay. Now SPRAS has a validation, lookup validation. Lookup. Always keep this habit, when you do these things, look up on this, look up on that, you tend to remember things more you write. So I will do SPRAS.
Brad, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Like for the other tables, we just did it in the same. So for T002, why did we create a separate workflow here? Like we created a temporary.
Just a moment.
Okay.
Just give me a second. This is T002. This is SPRAS. I'm done. Now you can ask. Okay, you are telling me why did we create a different data flow?
Yeah. So this was all part of the extract lookup. One at T002. Oh, it's here. Okay.
See, I'm just doing these two extracts for the sake of simplicity. But in real-time projects, you will not have these in your jobs. You will only have from here. This, someone will be allocated and he will be always extracting this xref. Someone will be allocated and he will always be extracting the lookup tables. He will always be refreshing it. He will always be extracting it. You will not do it. Someone will be, someone will take care of the extracts. It's not like you will, you see, in real-time scenarios, you will never hit the SAP system. They will not let you do it. One of the team members has the access to this. He will dump this data as is. He can name it like maybe LND underscore Mara. He will land it into your HANA DB, into your landing database. Okay, then from there you will pick it up. So you cannot, everybody is not having the access to do that, because if you hit your legacy database every now and then, it will slow down the system of your client. They don't let it do. What we usually do is like we have a separate job for xref, separate job for lookup, separate job for even the landing. We land it. You see here 1 DB, right? HDB HANA database. We usually have 2-3 databases over here. Something like LND underscore, maybe something LND, then stage, then TGT. As of now, I'm, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just dumping everything to HANA database, right? But we don't do that in the real-time projects. Somebody will be allocated to extract the tables. He will dump those tables into LND. Then from there, you will pick it up, and then you will dump those tables into your STG. Once you are done with the transformation, will go to STG. Valid will go to STG. Invalid will go to STG database. Then you will have a table like TGT underscore. As of now, we saw LND underscore, STG underscore. Now we will see after this TGT underscore table. That will go to your TGT data store. Okay. Then you will have one more.
Transform, is it? TGT
No,
is?
TGT is target table.
Target,
Table,
okay.
final table. When I do some, see, if I go here, if I see the edit. Yes, buddy, please go ahead.
Yeah, just one query to that. Like as you just mentioned, like for extraction, we'll have a separate data store and all. But all these data store will be stored, the data for those particular, everything will be stored in the same schema as system, right?
No, buddies, listen to me. Everything will be here in HANA DB, but here we will create a different data store, something like that. See, as of now, you can see system only, right? But here you can see different data stores, like system. Instead of system, you will see LND, you will see STG, you will see TGT, you will see LKP, you will see different data stores over here.
Okay. So they will have different schemas.
Yeah, in the start of the project, we create as a first step there. So we created 3 different schemas there, and then we use that.
True. If I show you here, if I go to advanced, see, I will show you from the beginning. If I go here, if I go to edit, this is my HANA DB. If I go to advanced edit, what is, see, for username system, the configuration as of now is, see, the configuration here is like, whenever you are creating a data, it's going to the owner's system schema, and the owner is the system, right? But in real time scenarios, you will not have one DB only. You will not have only one data store. HANA DB is only one thing. That's okay. Everything will go to the same HANA DB, but we will have different schemas. So we will create different data stores over here. As of now, you can see it's HDB HANA database, but here you will see 3 databases now, 3 data stores here. Sorry, not databases, 3 data stores pointing to the same HANA DB. Yes, buddy. So, Ram, whenever we create these tables, we will always point them to the exact schema where we want them to land. I will not create all my tables. So I will not create all my tables in the same database. No, I will have 4 different schemas. Some people also, so you ask me a question, hey buddy, some people, my project does not allow me to create the permanent tables. What is the solution? So what we do is like, see, this is being pointed to system schema, right? If I create any table over here, it's going to my system schema, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Now I will create one more data store here. I will name it as lookup underscore something, and I will give it the exact same configuration to this. Okay? But the only difference is when I am creating a table, I will use this connection. As of now, you see, whenever I am dumping the data, see, whenever I am dumping the data, I'm getting, see, in data store. Which data store? I'm dumping this to this data store. If I had more than one HANA DBs, I would get the options, right? As of now, I only HANA DB. That's the reason I'm always pointing my data store to HANA DB, HANA database. But now I'm answering your question. Your project is not allowing you to create a permanent table. Then what is the solution? The solution is you create a lookup data store and you point that again to the same system, same schema, which is this database. Now, whenever you are creating a table, it will get created in system, right? It will get created in the system, right?
Yes.
But when you want to use it as a lookup table, buddy, then you can go to that data store and you can import by name that table. So what it will do is like you will always create your tables, or whenever you run or you refresh your check tables, you will always run your code so that they get created here. And whenever you want to use your check tables, you can use the second data store that I create here. You follow me? You will create 2 data stores pointing to the same schema.
Okay. Yeah.
Inside one data store, you will use them as a target table and you will dump that data into system, for example. But when I have one more lookup data store, I will import that. The moment I import, it behaves like a permanent table, right? Then you don't need to write the code. You can use that inside the functions.
Okay, so you'll replicate the data store.
Exactly. I will replicate the data store with the name LND something. Simple. That is the easiest of options. Whenever somebody tells you, hey, I will not let you create the permanent table, tell them, hey, let us do this then. Just propose a solution. This is the solution. Replicate this data flow. We will always run our code so that the tables get created here. And then we will always import by name to in this lookup data store. And then we can use that data store for the checks. Follow me?
Yes.
Perfect. I hope that answers your question. Now let me do inside lookup. So I already had a lookup on T002. Okay, let me go back. Now I don't see any extra validation that I can apply here. I don't see what if the format. I can say like, what if I want to have a check? If the description is more than say 30, fail it. What if, see, as of now, the data is coming from SAP. So I don't need to worry about it. But usually for these descriptions, I will always check what is the value it can hold. For example, if you check this MAKT, what is the maximum value it can hold? 40. What is the maximum value MAKT? See, MAKTG, wait, I don't care because that's in the uppercase. So I will always use this field, MAKTX. So MAKTX can only hold 40. As of now, your data is coming from SAP, so you don't care. But if your data is coming from Oracle, if your data is coming from Excel file, you never know if they can give you more than 40 characters. So let's have a format check here. What I can do, I want to check the length of MAKTX. I know my SAP cannot handle more than 40 characters, right? So let me have MAKTX length less than or equal to 40. So what I can do, I can select this column MAKTX. I can do a validation. I don't have anything for length here, right? Then I can use a custom condition. Inside the custom condition, I can go to functions. Let me go to string function. Let me go to length. Let me select this MAKTX. Let me do finish. What is the length that is allowed? Less than or equal to 40. If length is less than or equal to 40, it will go to pass. The moment it goes beyond 40, then it will go to fail. So this is one of the kind of format checks you can have. Same goes with email addresses. There you can check if your email address contains @ and dot. Same is the case with your telephone numbers. You can check if your telephone number is 10 characters, right?
Yeah. It will be helpful if the source system is not SAP and some other third-party system.
True. No, even in case of SAP, sometimes what they do is like they keep the telephone number. Telephone number is not mandatory, right? So what they do is like they keep the telephone number as 1234 0000. It's not 10 character. Sometimes they give the email as 123.com 123 at. That's it. So you can even ask them to clean this data if they want. But for our security, I know, leave telephone number, whatever. If they don't, if they, I told you, like there are two types of validations. One is SAP ready data, one is business ready data. If they don't want to have any validation on telephones, email IDs, I don't care. Let them not have. But when it comes to the length of the description, you should always consider that if the system is not ECC, because they are giving you 40 characters, 50 characters, and the system can only handle 40, then the data will get truncated. It's wrong. So let them handle it even in the preload error. You tell them, hey, this is not the correct data, clean it. They will clean it. Because SAP cannot handle, right, more than 40. So now I already did the validation. Now I want to merge the data. As I said, I will use two things. One is merge pass. One is merge fail. Same story. Same thing I'm repeating and repeating. More you work on it, more you practice, you will do it like I mean to say with ease. It's really easy. Oh no, this is not. This is pass. Okay. I want to move this to pass. Now I want to move this to fail. I want to move this to fail. Fail. Then to fail. Then you can or you cannot use this. Actually, it's better not to use so many queries. You know why? Because if the volume of data is huge, then see, data will flow from here, then from here, here, and then here. then here, then here, then here, then it will move to the table, right? So it's always better you keep less query transforms. Sorry, query transforms. If you can avoid using more query transforms, it's better. Your code will run faster. But I just wanted to show you here like the difference between the input and the output schema for pass data and failed data. That's the reason I'm using it. Otherwise, please avoid this. Straight away dump the data into a target table. I can straight away dump this data here. It's okay. But just to show you guys like how the schema is getting changed. And trust me, this is an important interview question. stg underscore makt underscore valid underscore 00 stg underscore makt underscore invalid underscore 00. I hit this. I do this. Okay. If you ever see like after saving, you don't see this what do you call that icon over here? It means you have not mapped the columns. It means that there is no data that's going inside. Okay, that's the reason even after saving you are not having this glass over here. If I save it now, it should have. Okay, again the same story. The reason I'm getting this row num, because a record might pass through this validation, but it might fail through this validation. Ultimately, your record will be present in both valid and invalid. And I don't want any invalid record to be in the valid table, because this valid table becomes my load ready data. I will now simply dump it into my TGT table. That's it. And create a preload error success report. This will simply create a preload error report. Let me run this code once. Let's see what happens. I want to show you how this what do you call this DI error column looks like now, and why I prefer keeping this like multiple validation transforms. I don't want to use a single transform. Sorry, single validation transform. I will prefer using 4 or 3 format. Sometimes we use. Yeah.
Brad, like row num is for pass and fail. Both we have to have the row num, right?
You will pass it to both pass and fail. Right after this, once I run this job, I will show you how we write a query. I already kept this, what do you call that? A script underscore delete. Inside this script underscore delete, this, wait, what I will do is like, I will delete all the records from my valid table in case the row num exists in my invalid table. It means since a row num will always be unique to a record. If it's invalid, it will have say one row num. If it's invalid, same one row num. So whatever is common between the two tables, I will delete it from the valid. It means it's an invalid record. It's failing one of the validations. Now, if I see this, I see this much of data. It means whatever is coming here, like matical, unit of measure, and it's passing all my validation. Nothing is failing. Now let me see this. See, these records, my preload validations are failing. Now what is the issue for this failure? You see, it's clearly telling me, hey, this is a lookup error. I will straight away understand, hey, this is because of the lookup. Which lookup? MBRSH and matical new. It means your MBRSH and matical new, this 002, this has not been configured. That's the reason you are getting an error. MBRSH. Where is MBRSH? MBRSH is 3. It means this MBRSH 3 is not present in your target system. That's the reason it's failing. You understand me? Sorry. Yeah, where is MBRSH? Yes, MBRSH 3. So this means MBRSH 3 is not present in the target system. It has not been configured in the check table. So this is failing. If I want to have a look at all my errors, so you see, all my errors is having a lookup validation as of now. Lookup error. This is having a matical new. So material group is not does not exist. Material group has not been configured for 3646 records. Material group of and unit of measure is not configured for 732 records. Material group and MBRSH and material group is not configured for 538 records. Now MBRSH matical new and unit of measure, it's not there for 115 records. So now if my business asks me, hey, can you please give me the list of these material groups that I need to configure, right? This becomes easy for me now. See, this record, this and this, all these records are failing because of matical new. So I can go, but can you see one thing? See, if I will show you one thing first. See, this record is present in invalid. This will be present in valid as well. See, I will show you, like, if you want to have a filter directly on, for example, Matner, you want to have a check on pstat old filter, right? Then click that field. For example, I'm click here. I will click this plus. Then I will just write like this. Okay. You see, this is an invalid. Now let me copy this. Now let me do this. Let me put the filter on the same thing. Okay. You see, here in the invalid file, it's telling me, buddy, this has a validation error. This has a lookup validation error. MBRSH is not configured in the system. Here it's trying to tell me, hey, Mara is in the valid. It can give me a wrong information, right? So that's the reason I will use this row num now. I will delete all my records from valid where the row num exists in invalid. For that, I will use this script delete. How to do that, I will show you. Let's first analyze MAKT. See, MAKT is not having invalid data because all the languages have been configured in T002 and all the MAKTX is less than 40. That's the reason you can see everything here. Now, let's write a query. And from where do I get this script? This is the script. So this I just dragged and dropped over here. Now inside this, I will write a SQL script. I need to remember how we do it. Okay. Okay. I think here I need to give the, what do you call that? Data store name. Yes. What is the data store? HANA DB. What is the script? Let me as of now write select star from something. And let me do finish. Now, how this SQL script is working, it's just pointing to this data store connection. And now I want to delete my invalid records from my valid records. So how can I do it? Simply just copy this. Okay. Copy this table name. Do something like delete from this where row underscore num in. Select distinct row underscore num from invalid. Right? It makes sense to you guys now? Valid underscore 00 invalid. Yes. Perfect. Now, what I'm trying, Saranya, since you don't know SQL, so what happens is like I'm trying to tell the system, hey, please go to this data store or HANA DB, then delete from this table. If I just write delete from this table, it will delete everything. But I don't want to delete everything. I just want to delete only such records where the row num is common between valid and invalid. It means those records are actually invalid records. But since we are using more than one validations, it might happen like it is passing the mandatory validation but failing the lookup validation. So it's present in both valid and invalid. Now what I'm trying to do with this query is I'm trying to delete every record from Mara valid where row num is in select distinct row num from invalid table. So whenever there is any row num that's present in invalid, it will get deleted from valid table. Now what will happen? My valid table will only have the load ready data, and this table forms the basis for my preload error. I will send this report to my business. I will ask them, hey, please do these validations. And I will send this report. I will create a report on top of this table. I will send it to my business and I will ask them, this is the load ready data. Please give the green light if we can load this. If we can load this, then we will load the data from here to S4 using an IDOC or a BAPI. Or if they want to configure something, they want to change the xrefs, they will tell us, okay, this is the xref, change this, and then load the data, rerun these programs. As of now, let's do the same thing for MEKT. If you have 10 different tables, 10 different, I mean to say you are validating 10 different tables, you have to do the same thing for all the tables. Otherwise, you will give the wrong report because your data will be present in both Mara and MEKT, sorry, valid and invalid tables. Now, once I'm done with the script, let me check. Now let me run this data. Now I will not see both a record in both the tables. If it's failing the validations, it will not be there in the, what do you call that, a valid table. You might need this, so let me copy this. So please change this 00 to your respective tables whenever you are creating this. So this is for what table 1 till this, and this is for table 2 till this. SQL, this is just a SQL code.
Brad, just a minute. Like, how did you choose HANA database, like in the SQL?
Okay, see, Saranya, what I did, I simply wrote down SQL, right?
Yeah.
The moment you wrote SQL, right click on this SQL, see, I cannot do modify function call as of now, right? Because this is incomplete. So write it like this. So it means which HANA DB connection? It means what is the query? The moment I do those, now I can do modify. Now select the data store from here and then write a query inside these quotes.
Okay, awesome. Got it. Thanks, Brad.
No problem. Now let me check the validate Mara. Should I see this? See, this is inside, what do you call this? Invalid. Now I should not see this inside valid. See, this is gone now. So whatever see, I don't see anything inside. What do you call this? My valid table now. Why? Because everything is failing the validations. Oh, I cannot configure my SAP system. Let me, what I can do, I can change my xrefs. Let's see, like, okay, what is failing? At least I want some records to pass, right? MBRSH is failing, right? Let's see Matical and MBRSH. We are, okay, MBRSH 3. What is the MBRSH table? Let me now try to pass something. Suppose, see, actually what will happen now is like they will configure this 3MC in their target system. But we will not do it here, right? So for the sake of simplicity, let's assume they asked us, hey, change this 3 to the value that is configured. Let us see now which value is configured. MARA, Control F, MBRSH. Now let me check. I will just pick one value randomly. MBRSH. Okay, MBRSH 1 is configured, right? Retail. Okay, just give me a second, please. I want to now configure my system so that, not system, I want to configure now so that I can load some records. So I will do it accordingly. What is the MBRSH that I used? were used. So I use the MBRSH. There is MB. Okay, I use the MBRSH M, right? So let M, since M is already configured, M means mechanical engineering. Okay, whatever it is. Since MBRSH is already, I'm to say configured, M is configured. So let me change the data now. So where I will change this data? Inside the transform. So let's say inside Mara, let me analyze some data. Okay, it was already M. Why is it? Did we change this MBRSH?
We changed that pstat, not MBRSH.
Yeah, true, buddy. But why is this then happening? Wait. MBRSH. Okay, MBRSH M is already there. So M, at least this should pass.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see for MBRSH M, what is the failure? Okay, let's see for MBRSH M, what is the failure? We will try to resolve those. So for these records, the system is telling me, hey, material group is failing, right? For these records, material group is failing. Now let me check the material group. So what is the medical new? Okay, suppose let me check any material group. What is the material group I used here? Just give me a second. Where were used? Where were used? I want to do show in local repo. Perfect. Now I can take it from here. What is the material group that I used to load this data? Medical is 01. Now let us assume they told me, hey buddy, change this 001 or but this is 0. Okay, we change 001 to ABC. That's the reason. So let's change this 001 to 001. Where is medical? Okay. Give me a second. Okay, so 01 is configured, right? Not 001. But in our earlier xref, what we had done is we changed 001 to ABC. But let's not do that. Let's change 001 to 01. So I go back here. I go to my, where is the xref? Okay. Okay. You remember we extracted yesterday this material group, right? Then what I did, I changed 001 to ABC, but I will not change it to 001 to ABC. I will change it to 01 so that I at least have some records in my pass. Now, okay. What else is failing for this? Okay, then 00, if 001 gets changed to 01, I would I would get some records here now. Now let me rerun my job. Execute. I want some records to be in the past now so that tomorrow we can create the invalid and the valid files. So the only difference is now we can assume over here. Say for example, they gave us the material group xref as change 001 to ABC. Now they changed their mind. They told us, okay, we are not going to configure ABC. Please change 001 to 01. So what we did is like we simply went to our xref file and we changed 001 to 01. Now, had we done the hard coding now, as we were discussing yesterday, then I have to now move my code from quality to development, make the changes and do the transport again. Move my code, Saranya, for you. I want to please understand, whenever we write some code, it's in the development environment, then we transport or move this code from development environment to quality environment. There we run it. Okay. Then, for example, during the production loads, we move the same code from from development to production environment. Now, for example, at the very last, they told me, hey, we want to change the xref from 001 not to abc, we want to change it to 01. If you did some hard coding, as we were discussing yesterday, now you have to do the code changes because you did hard coding, right? You did something in the decode, change this 001 to abc. Now you have to correct that, change 001 to 01. Now what you have to do, you have to correct your code. Then again you have to transport your code from development to production or quality, which is not advisable. That's the reason we always ignore hard coding. See here what we did. We just changed the xref value. Now again I will run my data in the production environment. My issue should get resolved, right?
So Brad, right now you just updated the value in the source, like the xref file.
Not source.
I mean the xref
Yeah,
file
xref.
that you
I
have.
just validated the xref. You see, now I'm getting 699 records that are load ready. And if you see, for this material group old is 001, I changed this to 01. And 01 is already configured. M is already configured. C is already configured. Unit of measure, ST means piece. It's already configured. Rest of the things are already configured. Now if you try to check this material, RF10 in invalid, it will not be there. Why? Because we already took care of it using that script delete. So always use that script delete. You see, I will not find this. Why? Because whatever is in my valid table now, it's my load ready. The moment I hit run or I load these records, this should get loaded. Now the second thing is, okay, now tomorrow what we will do, we will dump this data into simply dump. What would dump this table? Like use this table as a source, use a query transform, and then dump it to a table and name that table at TGT, so that we always have this convention. We will always dump the valid data into a table called TGT underscore Mara, so that we know, okay, this is the load ready data. As of now, we are keeping everything in the same database, but this does not happen. We will always keep the load ready data in TGT data store or schema. Okay. Now this will form the basis for my preload success. This will be my preload error. Now you will send both these reports to your business. Then business will have a look. Okay, material matical new. Okay, what is matical new? It means they did not give us the material cross-referencing for 002 because we did it yesterday. If the matical old is not given, then we mapped it to the legacy value, right? So then they will tell you, no, change this to 01 or change this to 01, or they will tell you, okay, map it, make it blank, and then fail it in the validation. This is out of scope. Anything can happen then. Now it's the business call, what they want to do. Okay, this is my preloads error, this is my preload success. I should be able to load it. But there is just one point here. For master data, whenever we try to load the data, there is a thing called number range. I will discuss that tomorrow. Everyone clear till now what we have done today? Because this is the only part, I mean to say, which is a little hectic. Not hectic. Once you do 2-3 times, you practice this. Like this structure will be there 100% of the times. A table, 2 end tables, target tables, then some 3 validations. Mostly, this is sometimes needed, but always the structure will be this. If you remember this, you practice this, it will be a cakewalk. Trust me. But if you have questions till now in extracting the data, see, in the first session, we extracted data from SAP. In the fourth session, we extracted data from a text file or a flat file. Now I'm doing the same things again and again. I'm either extracting from ECC or I'm extracting from S4. So I'm extracting data from SAP. In case of my lookup tables, I'm extracting from S4. In case of my legacy data, I'm extracting from ECC. Sometimes I need the cross references. I'm extracting from Excel files. I can extract from flat file. That's the only work we are going to do. Repeat and repeat till load. Load, how to configure an IDOC and a BAPI, that's a separate thing. But till here, if you're good till here, trust me, we are done. Almost 50% we are done. Then only the load part is remaining, which is not that complex if you understand these basic things. The basic is how to extract the data, how to manipulate the data, that is transform, and how to validate the data. I would say 60% of the resources don't know. Trust me, I'm telling you by my experience. They don't know how to check if there's a one-to-one validation or one-to-many validation, lookup validation. Trust me, I'm not making this up. This is the truth. So if you know till now, trust me, it's going to be easy. Any questions till now? Any question?
Brad, I've been following whatever you're saying, but I tried to execute, but I have a couple of errors. So like, would you be
Yeah,
able to?
I can stay, and what we can do is I can try to help you. If anyone else is not having question, I'm sorry, buddy. Ram, you have to copy it from here, buddy. I cannot copy it from here. I don't know the settings. No, I cannot copy. Sorry, sir.
You just share again, reshare those two actually again.
I'm unable to do it. I'm unable to copy. What if I edit? Can I copy here? What if I cancel? I'm unable to. Perfect. Okay. This is one. Then now I'm unable to edit this one. Okay. Wait, buddy. Fine. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions till now? Anyone has any question? Saranya, I will come back to you. This is for rest. Any questions? Before we end the session, this is an assignment. I will check everyone's repo next week, and I am expecting everyone to have validated his data till for Mara and MKT. I will not proceed before you guys complete this. And trust me, I will definitely not move forward from here. So please don't waste this week. Try to go into the repo and try to create these things. I can only see Ram and Saranya doing it. For I know, like Manoj told me, like he's good with BODS. He can do it. So Manoj, please complete this till this part by Saturday. I'm definitely going to check it. I will literally go into each repo. Okay, if anyone has any issues, please go to the
Sorry, do you hear me?
videos. Yeah, I can hear you, Manoj.
Hello?
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
I was on mute actually.
No issues.
Are you putting these jobs into central repo?
No, I'm not going to do it. I already have, we already have one central repo job, that is this one. But I'm not going to put this job here because I want you guys to work. There will be one job. Now it's not working. There is one job like Isaac materials. You can just use it for the sake of getting the data stores. Apart from that, I'm not going to push any job so that you guys can work. So please don't go into my repo and try to copy. No, please don't do this. Please try to work on your own. If you have any questions, you can ask me on Saturday. But I don't expect anyone to have a blank repo please do this. Otherwise, it's not making any sense to me moving forward. Showing you how to load a material, how does it make sense when you don't know how to extract?
Okay.
So, Michael, please go through the videos, and I expect you to not at least, I want you to complete till validation. Whatever we have discussed till now, please go through the videos and do it.
All right. I'll try my best. It's going to be a very busy, committed week anyway, so I will try and get to this.
I would suggest you just give half an hour a day. I don't think half an hour a day is much for anyone. Half an hour a day, you should be good with it. Trust me. So okay, let's end this session. Saranya, you can share your screen.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, no issues. Yeah, Saranya, please go ahead. You can share your screen.
Hope you can see my screen.
Now show me what's the issue.
Okay, so I'm
No,
trying
don't
to
execute. Don't execute. Just
Okay.
validate all first. Never execute straight away. Just go there and execute. Yeah, show me the error. Mara no column defined for target. Okay, right click, go to error. See, if you're getting these errors, now it will be very easy for you. You are debugging. You will learn. Definitely, you will. 100%. It will be easy. See, now drag everything from the left to the right. One error is done.
Why is this happening? Whenever I click, the bottom ones just goes away.
I think, yeah, it's okay. Sometimes it happens. Mostly it happens with the BAPIs. That
See, this
no,
keeps happening.
cancel cancel everything from the right. It's okay. I don't want this to be in a haphazard manner. Trust me. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now go back. You are not.
Can you be on the screen, like, Sanya, if that is possible? I'll take a screenshot of it because we only map the fields, right? Not all the fields.
What is it, Ram?
Same
This one?
place where
No,
you
he wants to have a look inside the validation transform. We did not take all the fields. We took only the basic fields that are needed for material migration.
Okay.
So
Okay.
go
Okay.
inside.
Yeah.
Go inside validation. I don't think it will be here. It will be inside validation. Yeah, go inside query genero. No, no. You have still taken so many fields. I don't need them. Buddy, wait. I will share my screen. I don't need all these. I have never. You stop sharing. I never asked to keep like BLART. These are not needed, and I cannot validate.
These are extra.
That everything is extra. Wait. You have to stop sharing your screen till I share my screen. You guys can take a screenshot and just post it to the group so that everybody knows. Just a moment. Let me share the screen. Where it is. Okay. So I just wanted these. Can you take a screenshot and post it? I just want these 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, something 10. That's it. Take a screenshot and post it for everyone. Can you? Or you want me to do it?
Let me try.
It's okay. I will do it. Snipping tools. This is it. Copy. I go here. I change this to everyone. Then I do this. Now I'm not able to send the message.
It's restricted, actually. It is restricted.
Oh my goodness. Fields.
Ram, I just wrote down the fields, whatever he had, but I don't know how I got the extra. Probably I just copied something unnecessary, but I just wrote it down.
If you can just paste it on the group. I don't think you should be. I should be able to even copy them and paste there. No, I don't think. No. See how troublesome it is.
Any easy all these columns which are there in schema out or schema? Is there any easy way, like how many columns are there in the schema out? Can we just get those listing and paste it in Excel or something?
No, I can. I can do that, buddy. Wait, why do I need to worry? Wait, I can show you what fields to copy. It's okay. See, ZaranTech restricts my access, but I will find a way out. There was once, what happened is like somebody blocked. They were not giving us the access to create these permanent tables. It's for you, Ram. So the same thing, they were not giving us the access to create, what do you call that? Copy cells or copy rows, okay. So what we did is like, we just found out a way to even to clone the, what do you call that? To clone the tables using data services itself. So we still created those permanent tables. They only had the issue like, hey, we don't want to create it. Otherwise, we are good even if you do anything. So there will always be a workaround. So you were asking yesterday, right? Hey,
Yeah. It was mentioned like don't use create permanent table.
yeah, they don't let you because it's a work for them. They don't want to like work on that.
Brad, there is an option called transpose. When you click
No,
on the right,
wait. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do Alt HOI so that it becomes like this, so that you guys can see it. You know, Ram, who's the laziest of all in the project?
Database.
No, the laziest of all is the client. He will not. He's not ready to do anything. You know, he
Now
just
the function person, like they don't give the requirements properly. I mean, even the project that we're currently working on, the details are not properly given, and we were asked to analyze the mapping and everything as well. There are clients as such as.
I have worked in some projects where they don't even give you a functional resource. If you have any issues, you have to sort it out. And I have even seen some projects where they will not even give you like the functional owner to create those DDDs. They will ask you go and create. Then you have to first figure out how does this load all the, I want to say, troublesome work. Yes, Aranya, please share a screen.
Okay.
It depends on the project, buddy. No, why are you giving me row num underscore 123? I never want you to do this. Your row num will always be row underscore num. That's it. Just make it a habit. No,
It didn't let me name like that.
it will go there. I will show you. Right click, go to error.
This one I'll go.
Okay, I know what you did. You did something. You wrote something in small. Now you wanted to write it in capital. It will not let you. So you do something row underscore nu, then in the second instance change it to capital. You want to change the capital. Yeah, go to error. I will show you. Close this. What is the error? Delete it. Delete this. I don't want this. Why are you creating this inside query pass? I don't want you to do that. Just left row num is already there on the third.
Oh, okay.
That is the reason. It's okay. But I don't want you, to be honest with you, I don't want you to mess up these fields. Row num should always be at the end. It's okay. You are doing it. You are learning, but okay. Just validate.
Okay.
Right click. It will be the same error. Row num is already there and you are trying to create a row num. So how will the okay now you have to write a function for this, na? Gen row num. You have to give a value.
Yes. This was gen underscore
But that's it. Just hit and just double click on gen row num. That's it. Close the braces.
Just one query, Brad. Is there any easy way like we can get the columns or something like the list of columns like from query mapping or the details?
Like, I didn't understand.
I mean the column sets that we have. Like one thing is from migration cockpit, they asked us to get them. So it's very hard, like each and every time in query to create new column. If it is 5, 10 or 15, that's fine. But if it is having huge set of columns, like is
what
there
do
any
you want to do?
Like to get that
copy paste? Yeah, you go to some other, see, if you want to create columns from some other table, just go to that table, use a query transform. Okay, then join it with that table. The moment you can copy those columns and paste it in your another query transform, that's okay.
Okay. All I'm trying to say is like we have given a template, like those template if we need to
just a moment. Saranya, So what you did is like for you and I, we created the same lookup tables. So I would suggest remove this workflow from your job now. So what you are trying to do, you are trying to tell your.
This I created 08. No.
Okay. Now go to the central tab, monitor tab. Go to the monitor tab. No, there is a monitor tab. There is an error. Not here. You on the canvas, you can see 3 tabs. One is error, central one is monitor. Go to monitor.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, see what is in the proceed. So T002 has the issue. If you want to see which has the issue, stop means it's success. See on the canvas, right? T002, where is proceed? State proceed, where is it?
State.
Proceed. Don't do anything. Don't click. You always click on
okay,
this.
okay.
See, look up T002. Simple. Your T00 table is having the issues. Go to T002 now. Your lookup extraction T002. Okay. Right click. Show me the data for lookup T002. No. Right click on it.
This one or this one?
No. Right side. Target table. Okay. Now wait. Go to your HANA Studio.
Okay.
Go to your HANA Studio. Is it open?
Didn't open it today. No.
Open it.
I think probably you imported the table after creating template table.
I think she did not run the job. She simply created a table and then
made it
a permanent table. Now the system is looking out for this table. I already discussed it in our call. Whenever you create a table, never import it. Now I will do it like in the backend. Wait, what is the table name? What is the table name?
Can you just show us, Brad, like how you're doing in the backend?
Okay, buddy. I will just clone it, buddy. Nothing much here. Simple. I will show you. You have to stop sharing.
Okay.
I will show you. Nothing like rocket science.
Creating table.
No, I will not create, Baba. Who will create a table and then name the fields?
Okay.
She's trying to work on T002, right?
We'll copy the table.
Simple. I will show you. She's trying to do select. Send me the table names. We have LKP underscore T002. See, this table does exist. Why this? Okay, this table exists, but for her table 08 does not exist, and she wants this table, right, Saranya?
Let me just check. Lookup table. Yes, 08. Yes, this is the one.
Okay,
start from this.
This. Simple. I will simply do this, like star into from this. That's it. Now, if I don't have the access, not into clause, not allowed for the statement. Okay, now I have to do a cloning. How do we do that? Create table. Wait a moment. We can write create table this. I think it's like this. I think this should work. Yes.
Oh, I got it, Brad. Okay, I remember I was asking you why are you doing this separately and why are you running the job for this table, and now I understood why.
If you don't run the job, you're not creating a table. So you have to run.
Not working, right? Like select star, that should work. Like in SQL,
yeah, it will work, but here it's not working because usually they don't give you the access to write these statements. Select star, insert into. So maybe that's the issue, or maybe this is like I'm making the issue error in the syntax. But this is what we call cloning. Cloning is simply you're cloning the table structure. Okay. If you see over here, I don't think it will be having data. It will just create the structure. But if you want the data as well, you have to just add something over here. If you read it like how to clone a table, you can get it easily. This is called cloning. So this is how we can, even you were telling me, like they are not allowing you to create the tables. So what we did is like using the global variables, we can set like, hey, create table this in this schema. And we used to keep like, and here we used to mention the old schema. Using the global variables, you can do that. So whenever we used to move from maybe environment 1 to environment 2, we used to create all these permanent tables in new schema, because you can do cloning.
Okay, what we are doing is in SQL, we are writing scripts and we are saving them.
My goodness, sir. My goodness, don't do that. It's easy to create 2 data stores and point them to the same schema. In one, dump the data. In second, keep on importing. Then you don't need to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saranya, please share your screen. You should be able to run your, I mean to say,
Better
code
now?
now.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be able to. If you're still unable to do it, then right click on that table and then do re-import.
Re-import, okay. Okay,
But
so we have to check
Run it.
transform.
Yes, Ram. Yeah, run it. Yes, Ram, you were saying something?
Yeah, I'm just saying like she has to execute the job because there is no data, only the schema is stuck
Yes,
there.
she has to, buddy. She has to. Now there is some other error. Now you are, okay, unconnected. There is something you...
No. I just went ahead and I was doing the step and then I
Okay, just
deleted
remove
it.
it.
I'll
Yes,
just...
either everything has to be in parallel or everything has to be in series.
Okay.
You can run?
Yeah, it looked...
Now
I
show
was
me
able
if
to run it.
Now show me if you have any data in this table.
I think it still has errors.
Yeah? No?
Go to monitor. Go to monitor. Go to monitor. No need. If there's a green signal, go to monitor tab. There's a monitor tab. Designer, monitor, log. Just below the project area. No, not here. No, that go down.
Here.
Go.
Project area. Here.
Go down. Yeah,
Okay.
go to monitor. So yeah, no, it ran successfully, buddy. I think this is right at the top. It's okay. Now what is the issue? Okay, Matt. No, how? Okay, no, you have not used any validations as of now. Because how come your MatCal old 00 now and MatCal new is passing? Just double click on a validation lookup. Double click on validation lookup.
Which field is it, right? This one?
No. This is a... I don't want you
Oh,
to...
yeah. Wait.
No, leave it. I want you to... Did you write a script at the end, like script delete?
Script delete.
Go to designer back. You are in the monitor. Go to designer. No, designer. This is no, go to the left, extreme left. You are going to right. Go to extreme left, extreme left.
Okay.
Click on designer. Now show me the job transform. Go to the transform table, transform level. Go to job. Did you write WF delete anything inside the script?
Yes.
Now Mara, where Ronam in select.
Distinct spelling.
Select distinct. Yeah, this will not work. Distinct. So delete from this where row num. Can you give a space after in where row num in? In select distinct row num from Mara and yeah, run this again. Did you apply all the validations in lookup?
I did. I was
then run it, please. Wait here. Don't go anywhere. I want to see if this is saying like successful.
Job failed again.
Oh, I have errors.
Yeah, you have errors. Go to the cross. Show me the error. Submitted row num valid where row num select distinct Mara invalid. Wait, this is wrong for me, invalid column name. Somewhere it's like row num and that show. Go to the valid table. Go to that validate. Go to validate. Yeah, go to validate Mara. Show, go inside, show, click on, where is this row num? Go to stage Mara valid. No, not here. You're not,
Mara
not
valid, this one.
valid. Just go here. You're not even bringing row num here. How will it delete? Go to query underscore P. You are not mapping. How will it delete? So please, Saranya, go through the video and then map all the columns that I have shown you along with row num. No, I never said AEZSN. I don't want you to take it there.
So will I be able to go delete it right now, Brad? The ones that
go to the query
show?
before. Go to the first query. You delete it from there. You cannot delete the source. You can delete the target. Go to query genro. No, go.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Go to validate MM. Now go to validate. Yes. Go to query genro. Query genro. Yes. Now whatever is not applicable, delete it. I just want you to bring matner pstat old pstat new. mdat mbrsh matcal old matcal new means brgw ntgw kzk kzkfg and vpsta along with row num.
Yes.
Yes. Now go to your go back. Go one step back. Go to your query pass and query pass. Now take all these fields. See, you are trying to tell the system delete data where row num is. You don't have a row num invalid. That's the reason it's giving you an error. When row num is not there, how can you delete? Now take all these 6 columns from legacy, from source to target. Not everything. The ones that are missing. The first 6 7 will be there. The last 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Take them to right side.
I don't know. Whenever I click it, just I think
you need practice. No, just leave shift.
Oh my god. So now if I right click also, sometimes it disappears.
No, it does not disappear. You need practice, madam. That's okay. Go to the query F. No, go to query F. Don't do anything as of now. Just go back and go to query fail. What else are you bringing to the... See, you have to remove these now. Remove everything. Delete. Delete. Show me from the right hand, left hand side. Left side. If everything is mapped. Perfect. Now run your code. It should run. You were telling your system delete row num. When row num was not present in valid, how come it could delete? Wait. Did you change that xref as well for matcal 001 to 01? Otherwise, you will not have anything in your success. You remember which?
No. Yeah, I think we shared this. I was able to take it from the bin itself. So I'm hoping the extra file that you altered.
No. Okay. If you are using the same file, right? I don't think.
Same file that you had, that you were using.
Okay. Then go to your validate. Go to your validate. Validate mm. Perfect. Now go to your pass. Is there anything? No. Go.
Right?
Yes. Perfect. Click on that. No. You need to change because your bin and my bin is different.
Okay.
Go down.
Anyway.
Go to this one.
Invalid.
Yeah. Invalid. Now go to right. See if there is any matcal 001, matcal old 001. Not go to the left side. Just close Mara valid because there is nothing. Close that. Now go to. So matcal. Okay. Now simply do something like, okay, can you do me a favor? Can you right click on matcal old? Right click on matcal old. Do profile. Yes, you have 001, right?
Yeah.
Now change the 0. Now I don't want to see 01. Just change 001 to 01 inside your xref, and you can run it. Follow the video, and you should be able to do it, Saranya. Okay.
Okay.